Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be talking about. Oh, come on, Hoop God. You got to come in here. You can come in before the show, man. You can come in before the show. Anyway, Hoop God will be coming here. Welcome, Hoop God. We've got cardiovascular Rex here with a nice new haircut. How you doing today?
Doing fine.
Awesome. We've got Robin Sports and Fitness Rants. How you doing today? You had a killer live stream on your show yesterday.
Yo, what's up, everybody out there? Yo, much respect to my man, John. Everybody out there in the chat already, guys. I'm ready to go. Let's do it, baby.
Absolutely. We got Angry Old Hoops fan. How you doing today?
Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about the avatar. I don't know what's the matter with my account.
No, I don't know. And then we got Hoop God 23. How you doing today, sir?
Hey man, good afternoon, gentlemen. Hey Rex, I like how you got your ears lowered, man. You looking even younger than you normally do.
All right. Perfect timing. I got somebody coming at me on YouTube about my Jordan take.
Yep.
You'll have to
And we have DC Slim. He's asking, where's the representative for Kobe? This video is dedicated to DC Slim bringing up over multiple live streams how Kobe is better than Michael Jordan. So, DC Slim, you're welcome to call in the future and after we get done talking about this. But this is just to lay it out so we don't have to ever say it again. Why we think that Michael Jordan is better than Kobe Bryant.
You want me to take the contradictory stance?
Sure, why not? There you go.
All right.
There you go. Rex will do it. However, I just want to say it's good to be back somewhere because I am on the road a lot. I am happy to be home. I got my MJFB, my Spurs round 4 June 2014 ticket, and I've got my Michael Jordan rookie card and picture over here. I'm great. I'm glad to be home right now. But that's besides the point. That's just me. I'm just in a mood right now. But anyway, yeah, how are y'all gentlemen doing today? I want to start with Robin first because Robin had asked, or Sports and Fitness Rants had asked to do this live stream. So I'm going to ask the question first. Is Kobe Bryant better than Michael Jordan?
Well, listen, first let's address my man DC Slim, first and foremost, because we must understand that we don't need a representative for Kobe Bryant here because there is no argument for Kobe Bryant over Michael Jordan. So there really is no need for a representative, quote unquote, representative for Kobe Bryant's side because once again, there's no argument for him. So that's why there is no representative here. But so what we know is that the short answer to all this is no, Kobe Bryant is not greater than Michael Jordan. He's not better than Michael Jordan. We try to make that distinction sometimes, right? There's a better and a greater. And Kobe Bryant is neither than Michael Jordan. Everyone knows this. This is pretty much easy. But like we said, we wanted to do this live stream. I'll let everyone else go because we wanted to set the record straight here like we always must do. Set the record straight, guys, right? And everybody must understand that Michael Jordan is up here and everyone else is fighting for second place, man. Especially my man Kobe Bryant, man. Even though he tried to emulate my man Michael Jordan, we all know he's not greater than Michael Jordan.
Oop, God, what's your take on this?
I mean, I'm pretty what Robin said. And hey, shout out to DC Slim. He said, "Who's the representative for Kobe?" I was just waiting for my turn. I mean, clearly, you see what I have on. I got MJ #1. I got Kobe #2. So I don't see it like why is that a problem? Because again, Michael Jordan set the standard, and unfortunately, he just set the bar so high that it's at this point, nobody's came close. Now, when you're talking about the style of play, yes, I do agree that he is the closest thing to Michael Jordan in terms of style of play, but in terms of success with the accolades, I mean, that's not even a question. So at this point, I mean, we're comparing them, but there's to me, from what I've saw, and I've saw a great amount of basketball, there's nothing that Kobe Bryant did that was better than what Michael Jordan outside of his work ethic. I will give him. You say the hardest worker, but we all know what is the age-old saying: work smarter, not harder. That's my take on that.
All right, Angry Old Hoops. What's your take? Do you think that Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan?
No, I don't. But you guys will probably cover the details, championships, and style of gameplay, etc. I I'll share what the two have in common. The further we get away from the old style of gameplay, the more I appreciate both of them. It's not just that they were great players, but they represented a time where competitors acted like competitors, men acted like men. And so I don't want to get a lot of hate against me here, but I actually rooted against Kobe, and I actually rooted against Michael at the end of his career. Um, and despite the fact that I rooted against Kobe, I can't remember ever watching his gameplay and thinking he's scared or scared of the moment. And he and Michael definitely had that in common, which I guess we're not talking about LeBron today, but my God, you can't say that about him. And even when LeBron came in, like I said, I was rooting against Kobe, and LeBron had that size and natural physical gifts. And I thought this guy might be able to actually take on Kobe. And it didn't take long for me to see, nope, he's going to disappoint in that category. And that sets both of those guys apart from today's players.
All right, Rex. I know that you are a Jordan fan, but for the sake of argument, you've
Excuse
said
me?
that you. Excuse. Okay, you're right. You prefer Michael Jordan over Kobe Bryant in respect to who you think is better. However, you have decided to be the contrarian. Why do you think that Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan?
Well, I'll go with three specific points. Number one, as someone that tries to educate fans on past eras in that the game wasn't just invented 20 years ago. I keep getting told that players keep getting better every generation. So Kobe being the best of his generation, which is after Jordan's generation, I keep getting told that players learn from the previous generation and take it to a new level. So if that is true, then Kobe must be better than Jordan at some level. Second, I was just watching a video about Phil Jackson where he explained the difference between Jordan and Kobe was Jordan had tremendous will to win and focus when he was playing basketball, when he was doing his job and honing his craft, but he had hobbies. He played golf, he did other things. Kobe had that single-minded focus. He had no hobbies, he had no other things. It was always about becoming a better basketball player and constantly working and pushing. So you could argue that he's the one guy that had a stronger work ethic than Jordan because he was not distracted. And third, I'm trying here, guys, okay? And third,
Take your time. Take your time, big dog.
and third, results on the court. Jordan never scored 70. Kobe scored 81.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan in his final game at roughly the same age scored, I think, 20-something. Kobe scored 60. So to use the LeBron argument, he was better longer. He may not have had the higher peak, but his career lasted much longer, and he passed Jordan in scoring, I believe. And high games, higher final game.
Hey, Rex, they won the game when he passed him. I just want to put that out there, FYI.
Oh, well, that's something different than LeBron. Sorry. That's all I got, guys. I mean, he wasn't as good an athlete as Jordan, so you can argue that to copy Jordan the way he did, that was a big stretch to try and copy someone that you naturally are not as gifted as.
And Kobe did
So
have
much
a couple.
respect, jokingly or not. Well, I'm trying to take his side, jokingly or not, much respect to Kobe. I mean, when you think about what he was able to accomplish as the son of a journeyman player, he had an inkling as to what pro basketball was about, but he still had to forge his own path. And his way of doing that was to take the big shining star and say, okay, I'm going to do everything I can to mimic his success. And along the way, I will find my own. And he did that probably better than anyone ever. Wouldn't you agree?
All right. So one thing I want to talk about first, just to shout out an MJFB fan, Pierre Lynch, amongst everyone else here's fan. Um, uh, Kobe Bryant's dad got drafted above Gus Williams, who is Pierre Lynch's cousin. And I would say that Gus Williams did a lot better. They both got drafted to the Warriors than Joe Bryant. But that's a side story. One thing I want to say, because, and I'm not going to try and go down this rabbit hole for too long, but it was brought up before that Rex, you had brought this up, that one thing that LeBron didn't have that Michael Jordan had was coaching, because he came out of high school, that he didn't have one of these great coaches. Um, but to the point of it is that um, Joe Bryant, his dad, was a pro basketball player, whether or NBA pro basketball player, let alone overseas pro basketball player. Um, and I think that had a lot to do with how well he came out the gate. Now, everyone knows that he wasn't playing, a starter and a monster the first year that he was in the league, but he didn't have that coaching. But to digress a bit, I do think that Kobe Bryant is the next greatest thing since LeBron James, or excuse me, not LeBron James, Michael Jordan, excuse me. I think he is greater than LeBron James. Um, but to what all of y'all have been saying, he's a carbon copy. Not to say that he's talked about taking things from Jerry West amongst other players, which is great. But to me, he was the attempt of the NBA to sell a guy who was so obsessed with basketball and so obsessed with Michael Jordan that he was going to go and be the next Michael Jordan. And he essentially, in respect to the NBA's selling points, I think that he was the next Michael Jordan. And in ways, he's outsold, been greater, I believe, than LeBron James, because LeBron James doesn't play like Michael Jordan in respects to a lot of things. The better argument, I would still say that Michael Jordan is better, but I think that's a more nuanced question. I think you have to take into account a lot of things. Now, if you do and you take into account everything in their time and space, Kobe Bryant, one less MVPs, one less Finals MVPs, which are these are things that are given. It's not necessarily just a raw objective number. And he played longer than Michael Jordan. But what Michael Jordan did over Kobe Bryant, that our objective is, he outscored everybody else in the league 10 times versus Kobe Bryant's, I believe, 1 or 2 times in scoring. Let alone steals titles, let alone all these other things in respect to objective stat titles. Michael Jordan wiped the floor with everybody in the league that he played against, let alone, in comparison to Kobe Bryant amongst more or less everyone else in the league's history outside of Wilt Chamberlain. Um, it's not even close. Um, Robin, do you think that Kobe Bryant was in any way as dominant as Michael Jordan? Because a lot of people can attribute dominance to who's better. Do you think that he was anywhere close to as dominant as Michael Jordan was in his time and space?
Well, listen, we're gonna go through this, all right? We're gonna go through it because I see some nonsense up in the chat, man. Listen, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my God, listen. No, Kobe Bryant was never as dominant as Michael Jordan was. I mean, Michael Jordan dominated an entire decade. I mean, Kobe Bryant. Listen, the one thing that we must understand off the top here, that we've lost sight with a lot of these things, is that when we say that Michael Jordan is greater than such and such or so and so, people seem to, or the fans of that other player, they seem to get slighted and take it as it's an insult or it's disrespect to that player. That's never been what this is about. When we say that Michael Jordan's greater than Kobe Bryant, that's not to say that Kobe Bryant is trash. So what you see is have people saying things in the comments of Kobe Bryant played against better players or Kobe Bryant won with Pau Gasol. You see what happens? They make it immediately about the players' teammates, the competition of these players. And that's when you immediately expose yourself and you lose all your arguments because you make it about other factors, man. And you try to make it about not the actual players and what they accomplished. You try to make it about, so now you're going to say Pau Gasol is not a great player. And now what? We're going to start the Scottie Pippen nonsense here? Like this is what we're doing here. See, these people, they don't know what they're talking about. So when we talk about dominance, though, there's no way that you can say, once again, right, with the facts don't point to Kobe Bryant ever being more dominant than Michael Jordan when you talk about the scoring titles, right? The offensive winnings, the defensive side of the ball, the championships, right? 2 3-peats. And you want to talk about a Scottie Pippen. Okay, so Kobe Bryant happened to be playing with Shaquille O'Neal, who's obviously a very great player. We would all not argue that Shaquille O'Neal's a greater player than Scottie Pippen, right? No one's going to argue the otherwise. So he had some help, did he not? Like all great players did. So when we break it down to the facts, man, Michael Jordan is the single most dominant player in the history of the game, man. When we talk about the winning, we talk about the stats, we talk about the accolades, all of these things and the eye test. It's Michael Jordan.
Oop God, what's your take on this? Who was more dominant, Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan?
I mean, by far it was Michael Jordan, but I want to make 3 quick points where they're similar, but then I want to initiate my topic. Michael Jordan separates. So Jordan and Kobe are the only players. Well, I mean Jerry West, but for this topic, I'm just speaking on Jordan and Kobe to lead the league in scoring multiple times while simultaneously making all defensive teams. They've done it multiple times, but that's why I said Jerry West. But we're talking about Jordan and Kobe. Number 2, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have the most buzzer beaters in the NBA history. I'm talking about game-winning buzzer beaters. Michael Jordan 9, Kobe Bryant 8, so they're 1 and 2. Number 3, in the 2009 NBA Finals, Kobe, Michael Jordan, which over 30 points per game, also giving you over 7 assists per game and at least 5 rebounds at a minimum. Now, Nikola Jokic, he joined them in this past run, but again, the topic is Jordan and Kobe, so I just wanted to bring that out. Now, I want to get into where Michael Jordan takes off. So, in the NBA Finals, Michael Jordan's most points per game was 1993, where we know, averaged 41 points per game. Kobe Bryant, 2009 NBA Finals, where he averaged 32 points per game. Check Jordan. Most rebounds in the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan in 1993, 8.5. Kobe Bryant, 8, 2010. Most assists per game in the NBA Finals. We know Michael Jordan was he was almost like the next invention of Magic Johnson with 11 and a half assists in 1991. Kobe's most assists was 7.4, 2009. Check Jordan again. Most steals per game in the NBA Finals. Michael Jordan, 2.8, 1991. Kobe Bryant, 2.7. That one was relatively close. I actually like that one. And then you get into the most blocks per game. They draw even at 1.4. Jordan in 91, Kobe in 2000, 2001, 2009. Now we get into the efficiency. Michael Jordan's highest field goal efficiency was 1991 at 56% from the field. Kobe Bryant was 51. In the 2002 NBA Finals. Least points per game. Michael Jordan was 27.3. 96 NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant, 2000s. Michael Jordan's lowest field goal percentage in the NBA Finals was 41.5 in 1996. And I got a shout out to the Seattle Supersonics because those were some monsters on defense. 2000s, Kobe Bryant shot 37% from the field. I'm just giving these numbers in comparison because when people attempt to make the claim that Kobe's better, I'm like, okay, if we really have to sit down and dissect this, because I had more information, I just don't want to go on too long. There's really no argument to be had outside of, did you grow up in that era? Did Kobe give you that appeal that you saw? But you got to remember this. Kobe said this on The Last Dance. I hate when people try to make this conversation because everything you saw from me, I got from him. What I like about Kobe Bryant, he's a student of the game. He would go pick Bill Russell's brain to get better. He would go pick Jerry West's brain to get better. He go pick Gary Payton's brain to get better. There was nothing Kobe Bryant wouldn't do to try to improve his game. I mean, i.e., training with Hakeem Olajuwon to get his footwork more impeccable. That is one of the things, well, one of the many things that I highly respect about Kobe, because he was always trying to get better, always trying. But this Jordan, when he comes out and tell you that he's not better than Mike, I mean, I don't understand how his like certain fans, not all of them, will try to make this claim when the person that you're arguing for doesn't even agree with you. I mean, but that's my take on that one. I don't believe Kobe was ever dominant as Mike.
Yep. What's your take, Angry Old Hoops? Is Kobe more dominant than Mike?
I can't get past thinking about Shaq, and I want to introduce a question in order to answer that question. Does having help make you more dominant or hurt your ability to be dominant? Because I don't think, I think Scottie, as great as he was, I think, especially these days, in the attempt to bring Michael Jordan down, is getting really overblown. He could never be considered as physically dominant or as much of a threat as Shaquille O'Neal was.
Not even close.
Now, did that help Michael Jordan have the freedom to take over the game and be dominant and be the guy who is unquestionably going to have the ball? Because there really wasn't. I mean, you could consider Scottie a second option if you wanted to, but if you wanted the ball to be in someone's hands at the end of the game, it was Jordan. Now, Kobe dished off to Shaq in a lot of situations, and it had to be really nice because Kobe, look, no disrespect to Kobe, because Kobe coming down the lane was very intimidating too. He is not afraid to dunk on anyone. But the fact that the rest of the team, like 2 to 3 other players, had to be concerned about Shaquille O'Neal has got to open things up for you a little bit in order to have dominance in another way. So, and I hate bringing this up in some ways because it sounds like I'm dissing Kobe for having Shaq. So really my question is, does having help hurt your argument to be dominant or not?
All right, Rex, if you want to answer AOH's take / answer, is Kobe more dominant than Mike?
Well, the situation for the two of them is reversed. Jordan was there first. They built a team around Jordan, Pippen of which became the most crucial piece, building around Jordan. The Lakers were built around Shaquille. They drafted young Kobe to develop alongside their existing star, Shaquille. Jordan was never in that role, aside from his freshman year at UNC playing with James Worthy. He was never in that role in his life. So it's a totally different dynamic. This is why I argue there's no GOAT, because it's all situation and circumstance. So you have one is dominating from the beginning because he comes into the league after his junior year in college. He's successful in college, was successful in high school, Olympic champion, comes into the league, high draft pick. The team is being built around him. He is the focal point from day one, on and off the court. Kobe comes in, not a lot of scouting about him because he had grown up in Italy, came to Philly as a high schooler to prepare for a pro basketball career. So there was not a whole lot of study done on him back in these pre-social media days. Jerry West knew what he was looking at, as we all agree Jerry West does. Jerry West took him. He was not expected to be Michael Jordan at any point. In fact, I would argue that he's more like Jerry West, really, than he is Michael Jordan. But you can't compare young Kobe. Kobe's career is much like Wilt. Wilt's first half of his career is completely different from his second half. Same with Kobe. When Kobe was with Shaq, he was the subordinate. It was Shaq's team. He was a young player growing exponentially into a secondary role. The second, after Shaq left, it was built around him. They brought in Gasol, Meta World Peace, and they bring in pieces around Kobe. That Kobe was more like Jordan. Early Kobe, that was a growth process for a player that did not go to college, that was growing on the fly, learning on the fly as a complementary player, something Jordan never was in the NBA. So it's an unfair. I always tell, go James Kingdom, apples and oranges debates. They'll take one that's literally apples and typewriters. There's no way that they can be directly correlated in any way, shape, or form.
Hey,
And
Rex,
in
I
a
like
way,
that
that's
one.
what we're doing here. You're talking. We're comparing iconic and legendary, and they're two different stratospheres, really. Oh, and Robin did say one thing vastly incorrect. One thing. Someone in the chat mentioned that Kobe played against better competition. He absolutely did. Because Kobe played against Michael. Michael never did.
Oh, smooth. So I just to shout out Rex. I thought this was funny. I had made a poll about who can park their cars better, and he was talking about assists and dimes. It was funny. You can go check out that poll on my page. But
No, I said John Stockton fans are the better car parkers because they pick a spot and roll right into it. The pick
Yep.
and roll capitalized.
Yeah. Anyway, so Rex, in respect to the help, which AOH brought up, which I think is a great point. I think if anything, that kind of lowers the case of Kobe's greatness because the three-peat that he had got, he was always number two to Shaq. I understand the dynamics and everything like that. It is different. It's not the same. It's not apples to apples. I completely agree with that. The point is that if we're talking about who is better, when you associate Kobe Bryant getting these championships with Shaq, because we're not talking who's greater, even though I think Michael Jordan is by far greater on top of it. But if we're talking about who's better, he's number two to Shaquille O'Neal, who some people argue is the most dominant player of all time. I don't agree with that, but that's besides the point. He was very dominant during the early 2000s on
Those
that
years,
Lakers
yes.
team. Yeah, and Kobe had something to do with it. I'm not saying he was nothing to do with it. However, he was not the catalyst for that championship success, that first three-peat. I I find many people try to say that he was a lot more to the equation, and he was a big part of it. He was the number two guy because one A,
And a
one B,
strong number two.
one
A
A,
strong
one.
number two. Depending on the team you're playing and the strategy of that team, there were nights where Kobe was the main guy because of foul situation, because of how the defense is playing Shaq, and that type of thing. So there definitely were times, and I've heard a lot of people argue that the third championship was actually more Kobe than Shaq.
All
So,
right.
I mean, he was growing during this time. But what I'm saying is, we don't look at Jordan's time at 18, 19, 20 years old and count it towards his eventual greatness of the 90s. But because Kobe came into the league at 18, we saw him mature on the NBA stage, and thus we're counting that, the learning curve, like the air balls. Was it his first All-Star game, or was that, or the playoffs or
That
whatever
was the
when he was
playoffs.
18?
No, that was
Yeah,
the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Jordan was never in the NBA playoffs at 18, so we don't know if he might have done the same thing. We have no idea because it wasn't the situation that transpired. He was never put in that position at that young of an age. So that's what I'm saying. It's apples and typewriters. You can't directly equate these exact two things. It's not like when Jordan retired, there was talk of this. When Jordan retired of Chicago trading to get Kobe, and you're plugging Kobe directly into Michael's spot with the same teammates, same coach, same system, same uniform. Then you get a direct comparison in a sense. That didn't happen.
Well, Rex. I mean, I think there are a lot of similarities between the two guys because although they weren't on the Lakers, they did have Phil Jackson playing in the same system of the triangle, and the guy, because the triangle is a system offense, Shaq O'Neal was the guy in those first 3 years. Not that Kobe wasn't a big part of it, but in comparison, what I'm getting at in total is that you're right. You can't compare them directly because they didn't play against each other. They're not the same person. They didn't play all that, whatever. I agree with you. However, when you're saying who was better and you try to take into account all the rule changes and everything like that, the dominance of Michael Jordan overshadows Kobe Bryant by far, in my opinion, let alone the championships won.
Yeah, but I'm
So,
trying here, okay?
no, you're good. Real fast before we get to Robin, I'm going to ask him a question. If you like everybody on this channel, please subscribe to their YouTube pages. There's at Politicus Rex, there's at Sports and Fitness Rants, at Angry Old Hoops, at Hoop God, and at Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best. But but Robin, in respect to what Rex is saying, the similarities between the coaching of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, let alone the same play style. Uh, my question is do you think that they are vastly different, or do you think that a lot of the appeal of Kobe Bryant has to do with how similar he was to Michael Jordan in respect to having the same coach, claiming that he is playing or wants to be like Mike, having the number 24, all of those sorts of things? Do you think that has anything to do with the mystique of the greatness of Kobe Bryant being Jordan 2.0, essentially, how a lot of people think?
Well, I mean, listen, the fact that Kobe Bryant was trying to attain, that level of greatness, like I said, the bar that he was, trying to get above, that should be commended. And like I said, I can't stress this enough, man, because I see a lot of idiots in the comment section, man. We must understand something here. No one is disrespecting Kobe Bryant. I haven't said a disrespectful thing about Kobe Bryant on this live stream. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing is setting the record straight. And when I tell you guys that we're setting the record straight, I tell you what, sometimes when we're setting the facts right out here, it comes across as we're being disrespectful to Kobe Bryant, man, because we would never do that. Once again, I hold Kobe Bryant in high regard. But when people try to make an argument for Kobe Bryant somehow being greater than Michael Jordan, there's no argument to have. There is no argument for this. Kobe Bryant trying to reach Michael Jordan's greatness, but he never quite got there, right? We all kind of understood this. But all of a sudden, the Kobe Bryant fans who get a little bit confused, they're a little delusional, right? They get a little emotional. They don't understand the facts. That there's really nothing that you can point to that Kobe Bryant did better on the basketball court. Because once again, it's not about the numbers. It's not about the numbers here. I've never talked about the numbers when I'm comparing these players. It's about the video footage. The video footage shows that Michael Jordan moved better than Kobe Bryant. So when you hear people talk about the footwork of Kobe Bryant, what footwork are we talking about here? He has better footwork than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has tremendous and excellent footwork, man. The most fundamentally sound player of all time. Michael Jordan, go look at Michael Jordan in the slam dunk contest, guys. Do you guys realize that Michael Jordan's the only player to do the slam dunk from the free throw line while dribbling a live dribble? Other players have to hold the ball and run up to the free throw line. This goes to Michael Jordan's footwork, the fundamentals of Michael Jordan, man. The rebounding of Michael Jordan, right? The offensive rebounding skills of Michael Jordan. This goes to the fundamentals, the skills of Michael Jordan. I hear people in the comments talk about ball handling. Really, this is what we're talking about? We're talking about ball handling? What is it? Is this the N1 mixtape that we're talking about here? No, this is professional basketball. So when we talk about dribbling the basketball, ball handling, playmaking, things of that nature, Michael Jordan's superior ball handler, which is why Michael Jordan has fewer turnovers than a Kobe Bryant did in his career. Not to mention how many times Michael Jordan had the ball in his hands, the highest usage rate in NBA's history. Kobe Bryant's nowhere close to these things. And I got a question for the people in the comment section. When they talk about Kobe Bryant played against better competition, I'm going to go back to this. I haven't seen them name anybody in the comments. What players, who did Kobe Bryant go against that was so much greater than Michael Jordan's competition in the 80s and the 90s? Were they better than guys like Sidney Moncrief? Were they better than guys like Michael Cooper? Were they better than guys like Joe Dumars? Were they better than guys like Dennis Johnson and a Gary Payton, a Gerald Wilkins, a John Starks, a Nate McMillan? Some of these other great all-time great defensive wing players that Michael Jordan went against, and Alvin Robertson. These are the level defensive players Michael Jordan was going against, man, not to mention the all-time great big men. So when you talk about the defensive players that Kobe Bryant, the competition, name them in the comments. I haven't seen a name. Who are you going to tell me? Bruce Bowen? Are you going to tell me Doug Christie? Are you going to tell me some of these players? Because I've seen Michael Jordan at 39, 40 years old abuse of Bruce Bowen when he was in his prime on the Washington Wizards, had Bruce Bowen on skates. Let's not underestimate Michael Jordan's offensive skills, man, and what he brought to the table. I haven't seen anybody say anything worth a damn in the comment section to approve or to highlight what Kobe Bryant does better than Michael Jordan. And once again, this is no disrespect to Kobe Bryant. How many times did Kobe Bryant lead the league in scoring? He's such a great scorer like Michael Jordan, but he never led the league in scoring but one time or two times in his career. Michael Jordan did it 10 times, man. I mean, what are we talking about here? So these are the kinds of things that we must keep in mind.
Real fast, Robin, you got a super chat from Roland Curtis. And he says that Michael Jordan is number one, and whoever is number two, Kobe Bryant, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Russell, or Chamberlain, and because he misspelled it, but there is and always will be a Grand Canyon-sized separation between 1 and 2. Do you want to address what Roland had to say?
Absolutely. That's the way it's always going to be. Roland, much respect to you. I'm truly humbled by the support, man, for real. And absolutely, I told you guys all the time on my channel, man, it's Michael Jordan and everybody else, man. I don't care who you got number two. As long as it's not LeBron James, I don't care who you got number two, man. And it doesn't matter the order, man, but much respect. Like I said, man, Michael Jordan, everybody else, he knows the deal.
All right, real fast before we go to Hoop God, we've got Go Habs Go saying, why don't you ask Robin who had more All-Star appearances, Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan? You were clearly
longevity argument.
Yeah.
He's asking me that?
No. He asked me why I don't ask you that. So you can respond after this real fast before we go to Hoop God. But man, for one, All-Star appearances. Are you gonna? I'm not watching the All-Star game tonight. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips last year.
Me neither.
No.
It was garbage. It was garbage. Now, during the time that Kobe was playing, especially in the earlier years, it was a lot more entertaining.
Yep.
But you're going to argue who had more All-Star appearances and why I'm not asking that question? Because it's a garbage question, man. I'm not a longevity guy. It is an aspect of things. But when that is your main argument, no, man, that is not the main argument. It's not. Because LeBron James has the most points of all time, and he is a great scorer. He's, usually in the top 10 of scoring in the NBA. That doesn't mean he was the most dominant scorer. He was only the most dominant scorer once ever in his career. So, and let alone All-Star appearances, where now it's a mixture of the media and popular vote. He's going to get in, man. Like, what are we talking about here? As Robin likes to say, this is a joke. I'm only addressing it because of how ridiculous that question is. I'm not scared to ask him it. It's a dumb question, in my opinion. Robin, do you want to?
Yeah, listen, I'll go briefly on this, and I'll let you guys, continue on with the live stream. No, because listen, like you said, Doc, what are we talking? We're talking about All-Star game appearances here. This is the lowest form of any kind of thing we could do when we talk about the all-time great players, the top 10, 20 greatest players of all time. Everyone got a bunch of All-Star game appearances. Who cares who has more? He said something about All-Star game MVPs. My man, what are we talking about here? This has looked. Once again, I told you, it's not about the stats or the accolades. I could have easily came out here and said, well, ask him why he doesn't have as many MVPs as Michael Jordan, or why he doesn't have a Defensive Player of the Year award like Michael Jordan. How come he doesn't have 6 Finals MVPs awards like Michael Jordan? But that's not what it's about. It's about the video footage, the on-court game. I'm not trying to disrespect Kobe Bryant here. I told you, I have Kobe Bryant ranked 3rd all time, but the All-Star game selections mean nothing to the all-time great players. Nothing.
Hoop God, what do you got to say about all this?
Okay, so what was the original question pertaining to this segment?
Yeah, so it was on the back end of it of AOH's initial question is he was talking about teamwork and help.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
but my question is that because Kobe was secondary,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Anyway, what do you got to say about it?
Okay, so that's what I was trying to make sure I didn't lose my place because I was differentiating the two, right? Because to me, Kobe Bryant has, of course, he has two careers essentially, number 8 career and then number 24. So on it to me, now this is just my, from my outlook. I want to say this in favor of Kobe also. In that 2000s finals, Jalen Rose was on All the Smoke podcast, and this is him, I'm paraphrasing. Phil Jackson and his teammates were trying to suppress him because every time he had the ball, he said he would hear Phil Jackson, "Hey, get off the ball, move the ball." And you know how Jalen Rose, he's a little bit animated. He was like, "Yeah, yeah." He was like, "Yeah, get off of it." He said, "I don't know," but I'm telling him, "Yeah." And Shaquille O'Neal, of course, fouls out. Everybody's over here like, "Hey, what do we do?" Everybody's looking around like a deer in the headlights. Kobe Bryant said, "Hey, don't worry about it, big fella. He tapped Shaq on the side. I got you." Of course, he goes into game 4 in overtime. He goes, 4 or 5 from the field, shoots 80%. They win the game. Now, I'm saying that to say this. I believe with number 8, he was super talented, but he was also reckless. He would buck up against the system. Normally because, like, Rex constructed around Shaq. I think anybody with common sense knows that. Anybody who goes against that, I'm sorry, but you're perpetuating delusion. Now, Kobe Bryant, I believe, was trying to find his niche because it's like he didn't want to continue to be seen as the number 2 or the little brother, which is why a lot of people feel like in that 2000s finals, he had a legitimate case for being finals MVP, which I won't argue that because he played phenomenal. Now, I think where 24 separates from number 8, he was more mature, he was more cerebral, he was more coachable, and he even played more into the team aspect. Whereas number 8 would take ill-advised shots, which is why you have certain people out there would say, "Oh, well, Kobe was inefficient." And I seen somebody in the comments said Kobe played in zero spacing. Well, I mean, Michael Jordan has a legitimate case to say the same thing. I mean, it wasn't like they were playing pace and space in Michael Jordan's era. If you go back and look in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of spacing in that era neither, but that's not the here nor there. But when I'm looking at Kobe Bryant from 24 to 8, 24, him and Phil, they were more in tune, like they were more in sync with each other. Because you would see number 8 would kind of rebel and just go rogue, right? And like Rick said as well earlier, that was his growth development. Like he was trying to find his way. He was trying to, okay, where am I gonna, stitch my legacy? Like, how am I going to formulate my own path? Now, 24, I believe he knew that. That's why he made that change. That's why he transitioned. Because when I'm looking back on film now, I'm seeing where 24 is taking more smarter shots, more efficient shots, where number 8 would just go out there and shot Jack now. Sometimes he would hit, sometimes he would miss, but he was fearless. And I think you hit on that earlier. He was fearless. Now, I'm not saying 24 wasn't fearless. 24 was more cerebral. But as far as the coaching and with the team, Kobe Bryant I believe, had a better rapport with Powell than he did with Shaq because Powell would come in and would start from day one, whereas Shaq would come in there right when the season starts and would play his way into shape. Kobe already being in shape, that was friction. Powell, he's in there day one, right? So I believe Kobe had a better rapport because he knew, okay, hey, yo, I got this man. He coming in here day one. Hey, we working, we getting better. We're getting the chemistry. And look at the results he yielded because what I always tell people, 4 better than number 8 because he showed me as the lead guy, as the number 1 option, put me in that role. I can lead you to the mountaintop because now favoring Kobe, nobody else has done this. The only player to win back-to-back titles as a top 75 player, and he took down a team that had 3 top 75 players. Now, that's one thing I got to give him. Where Michael Jordan also usurps him, 2 3-peats in a decade. I mean, we're not going to see that again. But I do like the fact that 24, from my estimation, was by far had a better rapport with the teammates, being in that like solo leadership role. He was by far more coachable, and you could just see his decision making was at another level because he had that room to grow and develop from number 8, into that. What I would like to say, you hit that basketball nirvana where your mental prime and your physical prime they match up. And 24, I think that was the perfect number, because he mentioned like why he wore it in high school or why that was his favorite number, because it's like you're taking bits of number 8, you're combining that with this new version. All right, let's go win championships. So yes, I believe number 8 was a little stubborn, a little bullheaded, but 24 by far was more coachable, more cerebral, had a way better understanding of the game. And that's my take on that one.
All right, AOH, what's your thoughts?
All right. I'm old. My brain doesn't work as good anymore. Let me try and cover some things that I thought of while you guys were talking. Going backwards, the All-Star voting. It is LeBron fans who have made me realize just how absurd the value of All-Star game voting is, because you do what you're told to do. You think the way that you're told to think. And anyone who gets as much in the media as LeBron does, if Kobe had gotten that, if Jordan had gotten that, they would have been an all-star game twice every year. If the media told everybody this is who you should like and who you should vote for. So again, all-star games, sadly, the value of appearing in them just isn't what it used to be. Speaking of, I watched the 1987 All-Star game, and I'm releasing it later this afternoon if people want to watch a real All-Star game instead of today's All-Star game. But if you do watch it, you'll notice how clogged the lane is. I couldn't get over how clogged the lane is. It's like, man, you've really got to have some skill and some balls if you're going to drive that lane or try to dunk on anybody in that lane. I mean, there were half the guys on the court were inside of the lane most of the time. And Larry Bird was quoted in a interview saying that the All-Star game was more physical than the regular season. They got away with more. Imagine the All-Star game being more physical than the regular season game. And Adam Silver said some shit like he was going to fix the All-Star game this year. I don't know how. You got the same lazy prima donnas in it. And I saw some highlights from the rookie or the Rising Stars. I just saw dudes standing and watching people dunk. Absolutely nothing changed. Correct me if I'm wrong. But all right, spent enough time on the All-Star stuff. I also think Powell gets a little bit disrespected. He was not Shaq, different style of playing, but he was finesse and highly skilled.
Absolutely.
It's not like Kobe was alone suddenly just because he had Powell. I think Jordan would have been quite happy to have a Powell Gasol over a Luke Longley. And Kobe had a couple inches on Jordan, right?
No, they're the same height. If anything, Kobe was shorter.
Yeah, I think Kobe was like 6'5" with no shoes.
You guys mentioned what Jordan would have acted like in the playoffs at age 18 versus Kobe's air balls. That was 4 air balls in 5 minutes. And I think based on how Jordan played in college, I think we can agree Jordan was not going to shoot 4 air balls in the playoffs. And that sounds like I'm being mean to Kobe, but it's hard for me not to. I watched that live. It's hard for me not to remember that. And that was when the Jazz, who a lot of today's generation want to disrespect, were kicking the shit out of Shaq and Kobe on their way to meet the Bulls in the finals. People need to remember.
Yeah.
You say that there wasn't you say there wasn't competition. Yeah, that's because you didn't watch. And the need to believe that you're watching the GOAT right now. I think some of that is the responsibility of media always talking about it. I don't remember that being a never-ending conversation when I watched basketball in the old days. And as much as I was amazed by what Jordan could do, I think if someone said, yeah, but listen, kid, you didn't watch Oscar Robinson or something like that, I would have said, You know what? That's true. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I don't know what it was like watching those guys in the moment. As much as all I know is what it was like watching somebody own the moment as I saw it happening live. I don't, it's weird to me how desperately they need to believe that they are currently watching the GOAT.
Uh,
And
what do you got to say? Yeah, keep going.
the Shaq also who the primary who the Lakers were built around. Just to clarify that they both came into the Lakers the 96-97 season, so it was simultaneous. But the Lakers paid an unheard of amount of money, 120 million, to get Shaq, whereas Kobe was drafted. So I guess based on that, you would have to say who the real priority was, who the building block was, and who the accessory was.
Hey, Dart, I want to make a quick. I want to read a quote from Phil whenever AOH finishes.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. So AOH, I'm glad you brought that up about the Jazz. Now, this is what Shaquille O'Neal said about Phil Jackson after they got swept unceremoniously in back-to-back seasons. Shaq said on TNT that his Lakers intentionally dodged the Utah Jazz. He said, "You notice that we won all those championships and we never had to play Utah. When we first got to LA, Utah was the team that swept us," said Phil. He said Phil Jackson strategically set him purposely to engineer better matchups. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh man. Oh man.
Real fast before I let Rex go, DC Slim has said that there's been no argument. Let me just summarize, okay? So, all right. Michael Jordan won more championships. This is not even going into accolades in respect to the all teams, whatever, that are subjective. And due to longevity, Kobe Bryant won more. So with the All Star games, that was one of them. Kobe Bryant was a very popular player, and he is one of the greatest of all times. Nobody's saying that he wasn't. He won more because he played longer. Plainly, bottom line. That's why he won more. We argued that Michael Jordan was more dominant than Kobe Bryant. Michael Jordan won 10 scoring titles and 3 steals titles. Kobe Bryant won, what, 2 scoring titles? Individually speaking, Michael Jordan was way more dominant than him. He won the 6 championships versus the 5. He was always the leader, won the finals MVP. I'm not saying that's an argument, but I think it's really a case that Michael Jordan was the best player on his team all 6 of those years in comparison to Kobe Bryant. Let alone everything else we talked about. You said that there's no argument. I just wanted to reiterate some of the points that were brought up that went into more detail. So, amongst other things. So, that is, I feel those are very valid arguments that why Michael is greater than Kobe. I appreciate your opinion, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I just feel that these are very, very valid arguments. Rex, what do you have to say about all this?
A lot. I was trying to take notes, but I'm going to forget a lot of stuff, I'm sure. To go from the beginning, talking about how he was a complimentary player coming in, the team was built around Shaq. Yes, they both got there at the same time, but for context, in his rookie year, Kobe Bryant played in 71 games. He started 6, and he averaged 15 and a half minutes a game. In his second year, he played in 79 games. He started 1. Okay? Eddie Jones was the starter. So before we get too caught up in the image, let's actually look at the history, okay? He was a complimentary player off the bench at the beginning. That's why it was such a big deal. There's such a controversy when he was voted to the All-Star team by the fans because he wasn't even starting. He wasn't even playing a third of a game. And he still got elected, and they had that freeze out on him, if you remember that.
Yeah, he was box office, even though he wasn't the real deal. He was great.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think what really killed it for Kobe's image was the whole rape trial. I think that was the beginning of his maturation. He was a certain way. He had to go through that the league could no longer use him as the face the way Jordan was, because you have that hanging over it. Then Shaq gets dealt primarily because these two could not get along. Then Phil leaves and they hit rock bottom. Then Phil comes back, but now Kobe is the focus under Phil. Then you saw the maturation. They bring in Gasol, which was the most dastardly deal West ever did.
Yep.
West retires from the Lakers, takes the job as the GM in Memphis, trades the best player to the Lakers, then leaves Memphis and goes back to the Lakers. You do that in any other industry, it's insider trading and you go to prison.
Yeah. at least sued.
Yeah.
At least sued.
Yeah. And so there is the context of situation and circumstance. It just is not an even fight. That being said, the argument I make against LeBron, the thing that I don't like, not an argument against LeBron, what I don't like against LeBron, because I don't believe any of them are a GOAT, is LeBron came in young. He's had practically everything handed to him by the industry, but there really hasn't been the maturation there as a person when you see his behavior on the court in front of thousands and millions of people. And then you haven't seen the development in the game. Whereas Kobe, same situation. Highly drafted out of high school, whole lot of hype, not as much as LeBron, I understand that. But going to the Lakers, that puts pressure on you right there. And he did what we all wish LeBron did, is Kobe sought out the people that knew. He found the coaching. He talked to the previous great players. He learned from everyone he could learn from to better himself as a player and in ways as a person. And that's why, like Hoop God was saying, the 24 and the 8 are almost like two different people, really. One is a growing process. The other was the mature development. And isn't that what we don't like about LeBron, is LeBron never has seemed to do that. Kobe did it, and he did it on his own. A lot of that time, he was alienated from his father and didn't consult his family and was intent on doing it his own way. And his way was right as rain. And that deserves much props. That is as rare as anything. And as a parent of 5, it's something to behold when you see that kind of maturity and that kind of effort go into one's chosen profession, to just be that engulfed in making your product, what you give to your employer, that much better. And that, and by the way, a little bit of trivia. Anybody know what number Kobe Bryant's dad wore?
I don't. I've seen it recently, but I don't.
23.
Okay. Yeah, I did the Gus Williams video lately, so I had done a little bit of research about it, but yeah, no, I didn't know.
Yeah, he wore 23 too.
Can I just give a couple of amens to Rex there?
Oh,
a couple of amens to. He kind of nailed why it's not just that LeBron's not in my top player list, but why we get so upset on other levels. Not only has he not matured his game, but emotionally, he's become more immature. And you should just be getting crucified for that in the media. And instead, we have other adults in the media making excuses for another adult behaving like an absolute embarrassment. And it just shows how far they're willing to go to push this idea that the audience is currently watching the GOAT. Anyone agree with that? I mean, that's what really puts me off. It just sends me over the edge. It's not that we have to tolerate a guy that we don't necessarily think is a great player, but we have to listen to all this bullshit where we watch him act like a child.
Yep.
Well, if I may, I had talked to Dart about this. I had made a comment on a LeBron James fan channel who's doing a live stream right now about why Jordan fans hate LeBron so much. And that is specifically the comment that I put in, is that it's a generational thing. The people who are older that watch Jordan are from a certain generation. The people growing up now are obviously a different generation. There are different priorities, different social, stigmas, different levels of acceptability. And it's not LeBron's play that any older fan disrespects. We all agree he's one of the all-time great players. He is an amazing athlete. He is fantastic. But if you're going to nickel and dime it, if you're going to talk about that one last piece of the puzzle that makes one thing different than another, it's his behavior that we older fans can't stand. It's not his play, it's his behavior. And that's a generational thing. Jordan never handled himself that way. Kobe never handled himself that way. Now it's acceptable to act that way as an adult. These people worship superhero movies, grown men. I can't even tell you how many Jeeps I see drive down the road with a Batman cover on the rear, on the spare tire and stuff like that. It's like, it's just a different age and we are not part of it. And it's got nothing to do with LeBron's play. It's his demeanor that we have such a problem with. And when I say we, the debate is why do Jordan fans, I'm not a Jordan fan, but why I am not a big fan of LeBron. It's his behavior.
All right. Yeah, you got something to say, AWH?
Well, just to clarify, I think it's his play also, but it's 80% his behavior and 20% that his play, based on people making excuses for him, didn't develop also. So at this stage in his life, he is relying upon phantom calls and afraid to take a wide open mid-range jumper.
Real fast. I just want to ask you guys as the panel, are you guys open for calls? DC Slim, you're welcome to call in, but I had agreed before the show that somebody else has to go before you. So for anybody, I'm about to drop the link if you guys are good with that, unless you have something more to say without having callers come in.
Let me say something real quick.
All right, let's go.
Real quick. I must say something. I've been standing here and I've been reading these comments. And once again, this is no disrespect to Kobe Bryant. We haven't disrespected Kobe Bryant here at all. All we're doing is highlighting the facts here. We're setting the record straight. I told you guys from the top here, it's not about numbers or accolades or any of those things. It's about the video footage. I asked you guys earlier to name the players that Kobe Bryant went against. Name the competition. No one named the competition. Still, no one's done it. They're over here babbling and rambling on about nonsense, man. No one named any of these players, though. I named, 6, 7 guys I named that Michael Jordan went against that are all-time great defensive players. They couldn't name one guy. So these are things that we must keep in mind. Also, when we're talking about this Kobe Bryant thing, Once again, this is no disrespect to Kobe Bryant, man. We're just talking and highlighting the things that Michael Jordan did better on the basketball court, which is everything. When we talk about handling the basketball, I talked about this, the playmaking abilities of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was better with or without the basketball than a Kobe Bryant. He was better coming off screens. He was better moving without the basketball than a Kobe Bryant. Michael Jordan was better at splitting the double teams. Michael Jordan could do things with the basketball in a much more precise manner. This is why he was more efficient than Kobe Bryant. It wasn't about the numbers efficiency. It was the movement on the basketball court, which is more efficient. His ball handling ability and his footwork made him more efficient. So whose footwork is better than? Kobe Bryant had to do more to get where he was going, when Michael Jordan did less and was able to get the same results, right? A to B in a quicker time, Michael Jordan. That goes with Michael Jordan's skills. Michael Jordan's a greater rebounder than Kobe Bryant on the offensive boards or the defensive boards. Those are facts, man. These are the on-court games of Kobe Bryant versus Michael Jordan. And when we talk about the defensive end of a Kobe Bryant versus Michael Jordan did all aspects of basketball on the defensive end. He was a better help defensive player than a Kobe Bryant. This is how Michael Jordan racked up a lot of those blocks that we hear about. Kobe Bryant didn't block the basketball like Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan was blocking legit 7-footers in his era from behind off the help defense that he had. The on-ball defense of Michael Jordan. He could pick your pocket. Michael Jordan had defensive moves, tactics that he would implement during his playing days. He was a greater athlete than Kobe Bryant, which helped him on the defensive end. And the effort we know was there for both of them, but along with the athleticism, made Michael Jordan a much better defensive player. Also, Michael Jordan was a smarter basketball player than Kobe Bryant, and that's ultimately what kept Kobe Bryant from reaching a Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant did not have the mindset of a Michael Jordan. He had the gift and the curse, where he never knew when to pull back. So oftentimes what would happen with Kobe Bryant, you would see Kobe Bryant taking off-balance shots that he probably shouldn't have taken. Michael Jordan rarely took bad shots, man. He was always under control, always on his balance. Kobe Bryant didn't understand sometimes, like I said, with the mind. So these are things that we must remember about a Kobe Bryant. This has nothing to do with numbers and accolades, man. I just broke down the entire game on the court, man. And there's nothing that Kobe Bryant did better than Michael Jordan.
All right, real fast. DC Slim, because I had promised that you won't go on first, we have two guys in the back, Ochi75 and Jamal. Jamal, if you don't mind, I'm going to let Ochi75 on first. I'll let you on second, and then I'll let DC Slim on after that. Welcome, Ochi75. How you doing today?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's
Um,
up?
I'm from I'm from Ohio, Cleveland to be exact, and I'm glad that there's people out there that's telling the truth about this fraud named LeBron James, who always want to overcompensate and make his career seem like it's something greater than it is. Yeah, you're a great player, but you're not a top 5 player, and we got proof, and the more proof is coming out every day, but now we have proof that your mentality is weak. When it's all said and done, when you lose, you need the media to bail you out, and that's what they're doing right now, every time.
All right. Do you have a? That's a great comment, and I agree with it. Do you have a question for the panel or somebody
My
specifically?
my question for the panel is, why does Kobe get put on the back burner when he clearly was moving up in the Mount Rushmore before LeBron came around in the 2000s? Why did he get put back on the back burner?
I will let AOH start. What do you got to say?
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Um, I didn't, I wasn't fully aware of Kobe's disrespect until recent years because his career, one of the reasons that I kind of leaned against Kobe from the beginning was the whole, well, hold on a second there, kid, you haven't earned this yet. And, but then they kind of started pushing toward, oh, he's probably the next Jordan. And it was important to have the narrative that he might be the next Jordan. And then they stopped. And part of me thought that after he retired or after he died, I thought that they might glorify him and start talking about him as possibly having been the Godian. No, they didn't do it. It's very interesting. Post Kobe's career, they really abandoned an idea that they had, at least to a pretty good extent, embraced, that he was the next Jordan or could have been the GOAT. While Kobe was playing, people were talking all the time about how he was better than Jordan. Then that fizzled out. So I'm basically am agreeing with the caller, and it's a little bit of a mystery to me, other than to take the easy way out and say that it's simply a product of what the NBA and the media has decided to push and not push.
Exactly.
All right, Robin, what's your take?
Well, this is what we're doing. This is why we must continue to stand up, baby. That's why our channels are out here, man. We're representing, man. We're setting the record straight, man, because players of the past eras, especially a Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, these guys continue to get torn down for the narratives and all the lies that they must continue to pump through the mainstream media. It's all to pump up the narrative for LeBron James and these players, for some reason, being greater than the other players. I don't know why we can't have the players of the past be that great so that the standard is there. That's what I don't understand. They should be the standard that these players are trying to achieve. So if we're lowering the standard from the guys in the best by saying they were garbage and all of this stuff, then what does that say about these players in the current? That means that the bar that they're actually getting over has been lowered. So there's really nothing going on here. So they must continue to tear down a Kobe Bryant with the lies and the narratives. And we all know it. A lot of this stuff is personal with the Kobe Bryant in the media. He's never been liked, for years now by the media. So why would they ever continue or put some love and respect on Kobe Bryant? That's why it's up to a lot of the ex-players and people like us, the true basketball fans, to make sure that we keep these guys and the memory intact and the facts straight, man. So, like you guys know, it's always an agenda with a Kobe Bryant and why he's been pushed to the side. But these are the discussions that we should be having: the Michael Jordan versus a Kobe Bryant, not a LeBron James versus a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James. LeBron James should never be mentioned with a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan. He's not of that ilk. He hasn't put in the work on both ends of the court consistently at a high level. He hasn't shown the love of the game or respect of the game or respect of the fans. None of that stuff.
Exactly.
Rex, you got a take on this?
Yeah. Because Kobe didn't give a damn. He didn't follow their lead. He lived his life his way, and he didn't kiss their butts, and he didn't do the things that they want you to do to be that guy. He was his own man, and that was fine. There was an article written about why he kind of, after he retired, they expected him to still be all around the league and doing all kinds of stuff league related. He didn't. He coached his daughter's basketball teams and spent his time with his family because he didn't give a damn. His job with the NBA was done. Like I said, maybe if not for the rape case, maybe things would have went differently as far as marketing for the league. Maybe they would have done some more or all that, but they got really scared. Phil Jackson had it in his book, the talks that were had amongst the Lakers and the NBA behind the scenes as it was going on and after, about how can we handle this? How should we handle this? What is appropriate going forward as far as presenting, our product to the masses? And that takes some shine off. And that was the one thing that Jordan always had, was the shine. He always came up with the moment. You have a Dart, you have a thing talking about the shot.
Yeah.
That's upcoming. And I had to ask you the shot. Which shot? The shot against Georgetown? The shot against Cleveland?
Yeah.
The shot against Utah? The shot, the layup against the Lakers? Which shot are we talking about?
It's the worst attribution for Michael Jordan. But yeah, continue, please.
Yeah. He always came up with the evidence, so to speak, as Robin would say. He always came up with the evidence when a question arose. Mm-hmm. It was always, there's your answer. Kobe brought something to the table there that there was no answer for, and they were afraid of how to present it, so they backed off a half a step. So maybe he didn't reach the acclaim that he really should have in his prime. Thus, one MVP, probably really should have had 3. Then once he matured and his priorities in life were set with his family and his financial success was solidified, generational wealth, then it was, I don't need you anymore. I am my own man. And he didn't go out of his way to try and grab that spotlight once he left. He left on his terms, he left his way, and he didn't look back.
All right. Yeah, for me, I do think that, like what Rex is saying, I think that that case that he caught really hampered the motivation to push as hard as they had done before. Because, I mean, apparently it's, a terrible thing to be associated with. So, but they did play the game where it was Kobe versus LeBron pretty much up until the early 2010s. So they didn't let go of it, but they didn't, you know, do this kind of thing with it in respect to what they did with Michael Jordan because he didn't have as much of a, at the very least to say taboo situation happened to him publicly. Um so yeah, I mean I do, and even with that said, even with that case happening, I do believe that Kobe is still one of the greatest players of all time. Um and in some days I think he's higher than LeBron. For me, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole. I have a Mount Rushmore of who I think is greater than everybody else, and I think you can play around with everybody else past that. Um, but that's just my opinion. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. You can look at my videos. I've talked in length about that stuff. Um, but to the point of it is that yeah, I mean, even after that case, Kobe was still being pushed as the greatest player in the NBA. But I do believe if I had to point at one thing, it was that case because I think they would have pushed him harder otherwise. I think Rex is spot on the money with that. But Cheese, you have anything else to say before we let Jamal on, and then DC
Well,
Slim?
yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the criteria for being great has been manipulated and switched around. Now, back in the day, I'm old, bro. I'm like 49 years old. So back in the day, the criteria was always number one, winning, your stats, what did you do for the game? You know, now we have advanced stats, but now it's like everybody talks about longevity first. Why how in the hell did longevity become the top criteria for winning or
Real,
being a great player?
real fast, Rex, you had brought this up on the Go James Kingdom before. Who has better stats in longevity wise over LeBron? Just real fast.
Don't know what you mean exactly. I
You're
mean,
talking about
over.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, Kareem at the end tailed off. Yeah, but uh, he did more than just score, though. So as does LeBron. I mean, LeBron, yes, has been elite for 2 decades, but like he said, when did that become the priority over the peak? And I think it has to do a lot with younger fans. 20 years, like when I'm talking to a younger fan and they're 18 years old and I tell them, yeah, I'm 56. My first game I went to, I saw Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, then it's like, oh, and they find it awe-inspiring because I've been around for so many decades and watched it. But that's not, the priority should be, your high point, right? The peak that is the level of human achievement. Correct or no?
I agree with that.
Yeah, but now when you're talking about 20 somethings, kids that are 25 that when they started playing Little League basketball, LeBron was a young player in the league. These kids grow up, it's LeBron. They see Kobe retire, Garnett retire, Duncan retire. LeBron's still playing. They go to high school, they play in high school. Some of them go on to college. Some of them start families, start careers. LeBron's still playing. That is awe-inspiring to them that this guy has been doing it the whole time. The thing with Kareem was he played about the same amount. I think Kareem technically still has played more minutes than LeBron. But Kareem, the timing of it started at the very end of the 60s and played to the brink of the 90s. So there was a lot that happened sociologically in that time. So to us, that was like, wow, there was a lot of change in the game from that time. He came in the year after Russell, right? And then he retired in 89, was it? So it's like, wow. But you have an entire generation of fans who buy the merchandise, who do the majority of the clicks, and that are the most vocal, that all they know is LeBron. So yes, he's their guy. That's what they're clinging to. They're not objective at all because this is their guy. All the other guys we're talking about have retired. Who else if not LeBron right now?
Hey, but don't you think that if Kobe was still playing in this, like, let's just say Kobe had some of his prime, after the 2015s, where literally everybody's at the 3-point line, and now the hole is wide open for anybody to drive. I just think some of this longevity stuff is overrated. Steph Curry is probably going to play the rest of his life at this point because nobody's playing serious defense. So I think we do have to take into context the rules of the game and how the game is being played is almost like the fast pace of the 60s where you're getting way more shot attempts and now, everybody can score 140 points.
And hey, thank you for calling, No Cheese. I'm going to let these other guys on.
Okay.
Do you have any last words for the panel or anything?
Oh no, I just wanted to tell Angry Hoops I love his YouTube channel. Thanks.
We all do.
Thank you for tuning in.
All right,
Thank
bro.
you.
Thanks. Thank you, sir. Real fast, I want to address, y'all need more Kobe guys here to make it fair on this Jordan channel. So real fast, I just want to speak for myself and my interpretation of this. The guys that have quote unquote other fans on the channel just use them as real life straw men and they stomp on them, etc. It's all kind of a joke in my opinion. And all of us have different opinions on who is where placed on the greatest of all time. Rex does not have a greatest of all time. So we have different points of view. But do I need more Kobe guys on here? Or, man, I've seen other channels where the only reason they have other guys come on is because they're fans of the channel and they just get stomped on. So let's be real here, man. I'm not about I believe I'm a very nice guy. I'm not gonna stomp on somebody for kicks just because it's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna pretend that I don't think that Michael Jordan is the GOAT and that I'm not going to say this and that. And I do believe it from the heart. I don't lie. When something happens, I will admit that I'm wrong. What I'm getting at in general is that I'm not going to have somebody come on just so they can be a real life scarecrow and I stomp on them. That's just the point, because I've seen other channels, I'm not going to name names, where they have these guys that really just take an L every time and it's a joke. It's a real joke. So I just want to put that out there. That's the reason why I don't do that regularly. Because it is a joke. Anyway, Jamal, welcome, Jamal. DC Slim, you're up next, and then Jim M, and then after that, unless somebody else calls in, we'll probably shut the show off after that. Jamal, how you doing today?
I'm all right. You hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that I was cooking breakfast, but I was gonna say is that I don't want to I don't want to necessarily, because I've been on other type of topics or YouTube channels where you disagree with what the host says, and so everybody just decides to destroy you. But but in this case here, I think the issue is that um, you can't really deny reality, and the reality is Kobe is just not only not on Jordan's level. I mean, no one is, but you can't. How do you compare somebody that you learned everything from? On top of the fact that people can clearly see you're not as physically gifted. It's almost unfair to Kobe. It's like, why do you want to put him in this situation where it's like now we have to look and point out the fact not only is he not physically gifted, he learned everything from this man. He never actually passed or achieved what Michael did. It was just longevity. So he got to, to pass him up in scoring. And then add to the fact, this is what I'm dying to ask the Kobe people. Outside of Game 4 in the 2000s, can you please give me a memorable finals performance from Kobe? Because I can't think of one. But when it comes to Shaq and Jordan and D Wade and Elijah, we can remember that like it's yesterday. Magic Johnson, even like we can remember those vividly. But where's a memorable finals performance from Kobe? He just doesn't have enough. And I don't even know if he has enough for the. I personally think it's closer between him and LeBron than what they say. But the problem is the numbers and stats and everything just don't back him up for the Bron sex rules. So he has an uphill battle on both of those.
So do you have a pointed question you want to ask the panel or an individual on the panel? But I get I get what you're saying. But I mean, do you want to just narrow it down a little bit to ask the panel or somebody on the panel?
A pointed question because nobody's really said much of what I know where Rex stands already. He doesn't believe there's a GOAT. I disagree with that, but that's because I was born in '83 in Chicago. But uh, and, I just subscribed to sports and fitness rants, whatever. But
Yo, much respect.
I guess the pointed question, yeah, yeah, thanks. But the question, I guess, I was waiting for DC Slim to get here. But the question I was really been going through my mind because we addressed everything is even with that, what is a memorable Kobe performance?
All right,
That's
AOH.
in the finals.
AOH.
Uh,
Yeah. All right.
yeah. Thanks for calling on me. I think that Kobe's great performances are blurred in my head because in my mind, the Lakers are getting too much help from the rest. Again, not. I'm going to lose some fans here for saying this for people that worship Kobe, but Shaq and Kobe got a lot of help from the refs. And I remember
Mhm.
the Kings, that Kings series. I remember Kobe coming down, and the opposite of when he blew it against the Jazz. I think it was Game 6 when Ori hit the shot off the D-Bot tap out. But Kobe hit like 3 threes in a row to bring the score back to where you could even have the possibility of doing that. And so I actually hated that happened, but that stands out in my mind because I hated that it happened.
Oh, I remember the topic we were talking about though, and it was also about why Kobe hasn't gotten the same love as LeBron. I wanted to point out that I think that the problem for Kobe is that the game shifted right underneath his feet, similar to Melo, where Kobe just happened and then he was right after Mike in between LeBron and the new generation, which means that he's not going to get the same love that MJ and him got. Plus, the way his personality was, he wasn't even going to get the same love as Iverson. And now you have LeBron come in, and the league they've been trying to give LeBron the keys since 2002. We saw that.
Yeah.
We knew that some of that. I think some of that has to be investigated. To be honest with you, how Cleveland just. I don't know. I don't want to get in that rabbit hole. That there's something weird about that.
Why
No,
investigate?
Real fast, Robin. What's your take on all this?
No, I mean, like I said, I think like he's on the money, man. Like you know, this. Listen, I just want to make sure that we keep in mind that we're not disrespecting. I know I keep saying this, man, but for real, because like I said, no one's trying to disrespect Kobe Bryant when we're having this conversation or we're having these debates or whatever. These are the actual facts, you know, that we're talking about here. That Kobe Bryant is just not on Michael Jordan's level. So these are the facts, man. You know, like he said, you know, listen, I think that Kobe Bryant is clearly above a LeBron James. You know, if we want to have a debate with a Kobe Bryant versus a Michael Jordan, then whatever, we can have it. To me, the LeBron James Michael Jordan comparisons, they're invalid. They're not valid comparisons, man. There is no real conversation as far as the Kobe Bryant moments. I'm not a Kobe Bryant fan to that degree where I've studied his career, things of that nature. So that might show something right there, right? Because you would think of these moments, with these big moments, we would know about these things. I will say this though, as far as Kobe Bryant in the moments, his moments are those championships without, quote unquote, without Shaquille O'Neal. That's his moment, man. That's the big thing in his career for him to basically, you know, get over that hump, so to speak, or do what he said he was going to do, win without Shaquille O'Neal. So I think that's his moment. The 2009, the 2010 championships are his moment. But when we talk about moments compared to a Michael Jordan, really no one stacks up as far as, you know, moments.
No.
I was outside the room. Rex, what's your take on it?
I only have one thing. This is during the era where I don't watch. So I don't have like any specific memory in my mind that dazzled me. The thing that I think says the most about Kobe, though, isn't a bucket he scored or a stat line. It's the whole Barnes fake pass where Kobe didn't even flinch when the ball got shoved in his face.
Mm-hmm.
That showed you right there Kobe Bryant's mentality, personality, and just his focus. I mean, for those of you out there, former military, you'll know what I mean. That was Marine-like. That was combat mode, and that was Kobe.
As I've admitted, I was rooting against Kobe, and when he didn't flinch, I was pissed.
Yeah,
I was like,
did it
damn it!
not? Either
I was
way,
like, that is gangster.
yeah. Either way, for or against, that impressed you. It was like, dang. Okay, we know where this guy sits mentally. We know where he's at in the food chain.
That's
And
true.
as a player, that impressed me more than any bucket that he could have made. That right there was like, okay, this is a guy that I would be totally useless against, because most of my game was getting the other guy off of his game. I was very good at disruption. I'm not disrupting that guy. I'm useless. Put me back on the bench, because I'm not doing anything against that guy.
Real fast, Go Habs Go has been talking a lot of smack against Robin. Robin obviously has his own platform, and he's come on this channel and has destroyed everybody outside of maybe Nick. That was more of a draw. But he's destroyed everybody that he's come across, and a lot of those guys are my friends. I'm not trying to be, you know, mean against him or anything like that. But he has overwhelmingly won in the debate. Go Habs Go says he wants to debate you over this Kobe Bryant thing. I know that you often call people out to make their own videos. What do you have to say about Go Habs Go in regards to this before I give my take to Jamal and go on to the next guy?
Listen, listen, the saga continues, right, so to speak. This is what I keep trying to preach to these fools, man. Don't come at me in the comments, because what I do is I read what you say, and if you don't say anything factual, then I will not address you. And once again, my man Go Habs Go, the people in the comments, they've been doing my dirty work. They've been doing my bidding for me in the comments, because they understand the deal. This man says nothing. He says he wants to debate me, but I asked him a question earlier to name the players that Kobe Bryant went against, the better competition in his era. And the only one that responded is one of my subscribers, Markevion Black, and he named out some guys like AK-47, and he named that like a Shane Battier, a Tony Allen, guys of nature. But once again, when you put those guys against the guys that I mentioned that Michael Jordan was going against, the Sidney Moncriefs, the Alvin Robertsons, the Dennis Rodmans, the Gary Paytons, right? The Joe Dumars, the Dennis
Sidney
Johnsons.
Moncrief.
When I talk about these guys that Michael Jordan was going against, it doesn't stack up. They're not better than those guys. So when you say the competition was better, it's inaccurate. So once again, I've continued to educate these fools, and I continue to tell them to make your videos, and you can tag me in the video. Educate me, please. I would love for this man to say something in a video, but he won't put himself on camera. I guarantee you they got no videos on their channel. Listen, you can't come at me like my man Dar says. This is what I do. This is what I literally is what I do. I smoke fools for a living, man. It's because I have the facts, man. Everything that I do is off the top of my head, man. I grew up watching this stuff. I don't need to write this stuff down, man, and take notes and make sure I come correct. Any debate I've ever done is off the top of the dome, man. Y'all can't touch me.
Jamal, please remind me of your question one more time, because there's been a lot going on around the room to do personal stuff in my house.
Well, it was two. It was two things. First, I wanted to address the Kobe debate in itself, and then the second thing was the question I asked was outside of the Game 4 2000 finals, what was a memorable Kobe's performance?
Okay.
And then,
yeah, I remember now. All right, so what I gotta say,
why he did. Sorry,
yeah,
I was just saying, as far as why Kobe doesn't get the love he got, I think it's just because I think it's situational. I think the era changed while he was still playing, and he was in between Jordan and LeBron, so he didn't, and his personality didn't help.
Yeah, so if I gotta say one thing, I think that three-peat was Shaq. It was Shaq's. Those, in my opinion, were Shaq's years. Kobe was great. He was the up and comer. They were selling him, and he was, that guy in perspective. In respect to not being the guy, he was the next guy. So it was cool watching him play because he did do cool things. But man, the that dunk that Shaq did. The playoffs were Shaq's, man. Shaq was that guy in the first three-peat. And even with the second three-peat, I can't remember a specific moment where he took the clutch on, and he is a great player. I'm not trying to diss him or whatever. But if you think about the Lakers times in the early 2000s when they were on the team, I can only think of Shaq moments off the top of my head, without really diving into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any last words before we let Jim, or we're gonna let DC Slim on after? This is the show was based on DC Slim. Thank you for staying in the background, DC Slim, and then we're gonna let Jim in on, and then after that, one the show. But do you have any last words, Jamal? Thank you for calling in again, and thank you for supporting the channel and everyone else's channel that you like here.
No, no problem. No, I just wanted to say, yeah, I appreciate being on here, and I like hearing you guys basketball knowledge. And Rex is a good throwback, but I need the sports and fitness rant. He brings the energy. But
Yo, much respect,
Rex
man.
is the man.
Not yet.
And so,
He is the engine. He's the V12. Anyway, thanks Jamal for calling. Yep.
No problem.
DC Slim, thank you, sir. Here you are. Are you here?
What it do? Can you hear me?
Yep. All
Okay.
right. So real fast. For one, thank you, because I think this is a discussion that needed to be had in general, because I think it is a more quiet debate as of recent years that I think deserves to be had more than some of the more recent things. But what I'm getting at is thank you for calling in. Thank you for being for supporter. And what question do you have for the panel or an individual that you would like to discuss?
First of all, I'm gonna make a statement, right? Shout out to Sports and Fitness Rants and the fellas. You know I watch all y'all channels. All right, I'm here to represent my client, Mr. Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant G. All right. Now, listen to this, man. I think it is no debate in no other sport besides tennis where you have a true, real argument about who's better. And I think this might be the greatest. Now, what we got to realize is you can't always use your own stats in your own favor. Okay. Now, when it comes to the Jordan Kobe argument to me, and I'm just going to go straight out with it, the reason why people don't like Kobe is for two reasons. Number one, Shaq dirtied his name, but I never saw the paperwork. All right. Number two was Colorado. The NBA, the world, everybody knew Kobe was going to be the next Jordan when he was a rookie. See, all I ask a lot of people is when you type in Jordan highlights, type in like Kobe stuff like that. I watched something last night on YouTube that said, and I challenge anybody to look at this 40 similar plays of Michael Jordan and Kobe. Now, that's great. That is beautiful. I don't judge these two by statistics because I got to be fair to their errors. Jordan got a lot more steals because you can reach in that. You can get a lot of hand action going on in that pause. See, you can do a lot more stuff. In Kobe's era, it wasn't the same thing. See, this is why I hate stats because they only work when you just throw them out, but you can't really compare the eras. You know what I'm saying? I'm just letting y'all know that your boy ain't no basketball. Jordan and Kobe is my favorite two players. But to sit here and act like Jordan is the greatest, not the greatest. I told you before, he's the most exciting player that ever done it. He's not the greatest. But the problem is, nobody wants to understand that Kobe might be slightly better. Now, the reason I don't think people will want to come off of that is baffling me. I love basketball. I look at these two and I say, if I put these two on the court right now and I take away all their stats, I got Kobe beating Mike by two. You know why? His footwork better. I'm gonna go down the stats for you, Mr. Sports and Fitness Ranch, to show you why. All right. His footwork is better. His shot is better. You might not
That's
like the shots. Hold on, hold up. I'm
those
gonna end
aren't
it.
stats.
Oh, listen, listen. I'm telling you, I'm not using stats. I'm basing this
Oh,
on this
okay,
if these two was on the court. The reason why Kobe would be better, you might not like the shots Kobe take, but the jumps go in. Okay? So it's like you're not giving him credit for nothing. Dog, this dude, you are if you could say somebody is a carbon copy of somebody. So we'll say that's their son. Okay? So if your son, you want your son to be better than you, right? I listen to Mike. All you gotta do is Google it. Mike ain't never gave no player on this planet no credit. But he
what?
said, I think Kobe will beat me because he stole my moves. Now, if you don't like Kobe because he stole Mike moves, just say that. All right. Don't sit here and act like when he stole them moves, he sized it up. I told you before, Jordan is a Rolls Royce to me. Kobe is a Bentley. All right. So I can't really, they not that far apart, depending on what you want to use them for. But
Man,
I'm gonna tell you, my
Rolls
bad.
Royce.
Go ahead.
There's only. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but Rolls Royce, per thing, there's only like a couple hundred made per thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. But a
Oh,
Bentley's nice too.
yeah, it's nice, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I
So
didn't mean to interrupt
exactly.
you. I'm just saying. I'm just putting in
You
perspective
you
your
all right.
take.
Look, all I'm saying is, dog, I love Jordan. And I see in the comments, it's like I'm a Jordan hater. I'm telling y'all, Jordan and Kobe are my favorite two players. But I get the right to critique these dudes at certain things. So if I'm just going to use the word best, dog, I gotta actually go down these stats and look at them. I can't forget that Jordan got swept his first 2 years in his career. All right, we can't just exclude that like it's nothing. These two players are similar. We always talk about Kobe and Shaq. Man, if you look at Kobe's numbers, and this is the only time I'm gonna use numbers, all right, they was better than Shaq's when he played with Shaq. So it's almost like it go back to what I said in the beginning. When Shaq dirtied his name up and said he was with them peoples, and then the Colorado thing, it trained everybody not to look at his game, but just judge him as a person. The dude is an animal, dog. And let's just stop being old men sitting on the porch, not liking what young people doing these days, because that's what it kind of sounds like. The game has changed, man. I watched the joint last night. The dunk contest was trash, but the 3-point jump was vicious. You know what I'm saying? So look, let's basketball here, man. Let's appreciate it for what it is, man. I love the show, man. You know.
DC, what's your because you said a lot. Do you have a specific question that you want the panel or an individual to answer on the panel?
I want to know, is it anybody? This not like a question. This is like more like a statement. Why can't you get over the fact that somebody might be slightly better than Jordan?
That's okay. So that's a question. Why can somebody be slightly better than Jordan? Why can't you get over that?
Yeah, it's like look, Jordan was great. Jordan, the shoes, the jump, all of the excitement. Okay, but Jordan game was not like the greatest game. I just don't. It looked
All right.
great. Don't let's not do this, fellas. And hold up, last thing, this Pippen thing, and this. I'm gonna stop after this. Y'all gonna need to stop acting like Pippen was some trash. 8-time first all defensive. He was a major part of what Jordan
Nobody
did.
said Pippen was trash. I don't know
Well,
anyone who said
you
that.
don't use trash, but y'all use it like he's irrelevant. All right.
I never
Pippen
said
was
that.
just as
I never
valuable
said
as
that.
Shaq was to Kobe. Don't do this, fellas. You might not like him as a person, but Pippen was rubber nose was a beast.
Kobe was more relevant to Shaq than Shaq was to Kobe.
Wow.
If you get what I'm saying. Shaq was that guy. Anyway, what do you have to say about this, Rex, about what DC said?
I think there were a number of players as good as Jordan, so that doesn't pertain to me. I mean, at some things I said I was taking the Kobe side in the argument. You know, statistically, he had games that Jordan never had. He had his moments. He played longer, stayed healthier. He brought himself, don't want to say from nothing, but from less, from a teenage bench player to at one point the best player in the game. He did that. It was not given to him. He did that. The whole Colorado thing made sure it wasn't given to him. They weren't going to give it to him at that point. He essentially did a WWE where he was the young and up and coming thing. Then when it got to the point that they couldn't make him the face of the league in a new logo, then they switched to LeBron, which he came into league same year as the Colorado case. So then he was used as the, I don't want to say the bad guy, but as the to bounce LeBron off of. He was the other guy that LeBron was going against, the elder statesman that LeBron was fighting, for supremacy or however you want to say they were marketing it.
Rex, real fast. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but to the point,
No,
as you said, why can't you say that Kobe could be better than Michael or others?
I've got a lot to say.
I'm not trying to interrupt you, and I'm because I know how you talk. I'm sure you're getting there, but I just want to remind you.
But I said from the beginning, I took Kobe's side in this, so it really doesn't pertain to me.
Yeah. I just want to put that out there just for people.
Yeah, no, Kobe had his moments.
Moments.
He did a couple things here and there that Jordan did not do.
That's
a fact.
Well, what the caller specifically said, why can't you guys stand the idea of anyone being better than Jordan?
Well, I also addressed that too. I think there are quite a few people that are as good as Jordan. There is no GOAT.
Well, I said
situation and circumstance, different eras, different opponents, different teammates, different coaches.
And I said earlier in the show that if somebody from a generation older than us said that someone from their era wasn't getting the consideration that they should, then I'd have to say, you know what? You're right. I can't speak on that, and it's possible. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that Jordan might not be the GOAT, but I watched, and I've watched more as time has gone by, and you go back and you scrutinize the gameplay of these people, and it's only caused me to appreciate them more.
Yeah, he was amazing. All of these guys were absolutely amazing. People don't realize, unless you've played with some of them, exactly on what different level these guys are. I mean, try going and hanging out like with some nuclear physicists and try talking to them about science. That's basically, if we walked on a basketball court with these guys, what it would be like. They're on such a different level, but they're all peers of each other. They are on these levels together. We're all on the outside looking in, and we think we know, but we don't know.
Dart, I have 4 bullet points, if I may.
Sure, let's do it.
Well, we've been giving our opinions, and we've been giving them in a fairly respectful manner as to why we feel a certain person is the best. Your caller announced who is the best, as if it was a undebatable fact. Yeah, his first line may have been the worst one, where he said everyone knew when Kobe came in that he was going to be better than Jordan. You can't know that. You can't possibly know that, and that is what weakens the argument the most, because Jordan had to prove to us. Nobody said, hey, you're looking at the best ever when Jordan came in. He proved to us that he was under much scrutiny. And then, like I said,
not to interrupt you, but you had Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar before then, let alone Wilt Chamberlain. Anyway.
Who
were absolutely dominant and were arguably the best ever.
Sure. So they were.
Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry. I just wanted to add that emphasis to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, and like I said earlier, one of the reasons that I was so highly critical of Kobe was this narrative that he was already going to be so-and-so. I'm like, well, wait a minute. We don't know anything yet. They went even further than that with LeBron. They went even further with that, announcing him before he had done anything and tattooed that he was the best on his back. As far as Kobe getting absolutely destroyed by the Colorado thing, I remember, and I actually was a little bit disturbed by this, Kobe Bryant's jersey sales went up after that. And I was like, you know what, guilty or not guilty, I'm not so sure that what he did warrants getting an increase in jersey sales. It was still infidelity with a not particularly attractive woman, mind you. And saying that Jordan never gave anyone credit, I've got numerous clips of Jordan giving credit. And then the whole idea about stealing moves from people. I've had people come on my channel and say that Jordan stole everything that he used. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about dribbling, jump shooting, jumping. I mean, everybody borrows from somebody at some point. What I respect about Kobe is he had no problem saying that I learned from these people, whereas LeBron today might pretend like he created everything and literally say it with a straight face. All right, that's it.
All right. Robin, what you got to say about DC Slim's take?
Listen, man, I try to be nice about this if I can, man. But you know how I feel about how this whole thing is going down here. Because once again, there were no facts given. There's never any facts given to why Kobe Bryant is better. It's just all of these responses. And you know what's funny is how these people talk about Scottie Pippen. He talks about how great Scottie Pippen is. But wait, who's greater, Shaquille O'Neal or Scottie Pippen? I love how they always pump up Scottie Pippen. But once again, they don't want to give any credit to Shaquille O'Neal. They act like Shaquille O'Neal was garbage, man. I don't get it. There's no way that Shaquille O'Neal is anywhere close to Scottie Pippen in the realm of all-time greats, man. Shaquille O'Neal is already top 10 all-time great player. Scottie Pippen's nowhere in that realm. Nowhere in that realm. Scottie Pippen's maybe a top 30 all-time player, maybe top 30. And he talks and rambles on about Scottie Pippen's defense. Really? We're supposed to marvel at Scottie Pippen being a great defensive player? That's how he helped Michael Jordan. Yes, Oh my God, Michael Jordan had help. Once again, my man's once again holding Michael Jordan to a higher standard because Michael Jordan is the standard. That's why he's held to the highest standard. Michael Jordan can't have any help. And once again, these guys expose themselves when they bring up Scottie Pippen and this nonsense because only Michael Jordan no one else had help. Only Michael Jordan in the history of the world, and he bring up Scottie Pippen. So once again, so
Nobody
explain
said
to me
that.
also, we never brought up any of the facts about how he's better than Michael Jordan. If he's so great footwork wise, he said the skills are greater than Michael Jordan's, then how come Kobe Bryant only led the league in scoring 2 times? If he's that great of a scorer, if his fundamentals and footwork is that great, he has all these moves over Michael Jordan, he was never able to lead the league in scoring more than 2 times. Russell Westbrook did that. Russell Westbrook led the league in scoring 2 times. James Harden led this league in scoring more than 2 times. So what that shows is that Kobe Bryant, as great of a scorer that he wasn't as potent as a Michael Jordan because he didn't have the precision, the fundamentals, the footwork of a Michael Jordan. These are the obvious facts. All right. So once again, there's no argument for Kobe Bryant over Michael Jordan. He never made an argument. I haven't mentioned any stats on this whole damn live stream, man. You came in here talking about stats. I never mentioned a single stat. I broke down the on-court game and everything that Michael Jordan does on the court has nothing to do with stats. I broke down Michael Jordan being a better rebounder than Kobe Bryant. That's what the video footage shows us. Those are just the facts. I broke down Michael Jordan being a defensive player than Kobe Bryant. He's a better on-ball defensive player. He's a better help defensive player. He's better in the passing lanes. He was better in the post. So these are all the things I broke down without mentioning any stats. Michael Jordan's a better shooter than Kobe Bryant. If I need a shot at the end of the game, I'm taking Michael Jordan easily over Kobe Bryant. You talked about shooting. The percentages, you said that Kobe Bryant makes the shots, but I'm complaining about Kobe Bryant shooting and taking bad shots. No, that's the point. Look at Kobe Bryant shooting next to Michael Jordan shooting. Michael Jordan was a tick better shots, which is why he was more efficient shooting. It's not just about the percentages. It's about the video footage. You watch them take different kinds of shot selections. This goes to Michael Jordan's IQ. This has nothing to do with numbers. This is the video footage. So once again, man, we put this to bed, put this to rest. There is no debate. He said nothing here.
I said nothing about that. That ain't got nothing to do with what I just said. Nothing to do with what I just said.
DC Slim,
Go
you
back
got
and watch the tape again later, my man. I just broke down your entire thing, man. You said nothing.
Once
DC
again,
Slim. DC Slim, you
go ahead.
got yeah. Please say your last words. I'm gonna let Jim M on, and then Roland
No problem.
Curtis, and
No problem.
we're gonna shut this thing down.
No problem, fellas. Okay, look, my closing arguments is this. We didn't learn nothing today, all right? What we did was we kept talking about great moments from the exciting playing Michael Jordan, okay? I have been watching basketball for a long time. I'm very smart on this. I don't just like people. I like the sport as a whole. What I'm trying to tell y'all is the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant comparison is just ain't fair. All right. Right now, we don't even have a mediator because the mediator of the show is a Jordan fan. So it's really, you can't check the Jordan fan when he starts saying stuff that's really not relevant to the debate. You won't stop him. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that stuff, sport and fitness rants just did was just rant. It wasn't a lot of facts in there. You didn't bring up anything. You kept talking about moments and how you feel about Michael Jordan. You keep talking about facts. They're your facts. It's no mediator here. It's all good, fellas. I'll catch y'all later.
DC Slim, I brought up facts that Michael Jordan led the league in scoring 10 times out of 15 years.
Okay, watch this. Pause right there. Now, what do you got for Kobe? What can Kobe do better than Mike? It shouldn't take you that long. That shouldn't
Nothing.
take you that long.
Nothing.
If you know
Nothing.
basketball, wow.
Nothing.
You tell
Nothing.
us, man. You're the one making the argument, fool. Tell us.
I just told you.
You
Listen
haven't said
again.
anything.
Watch. Here it is. I'm gonna say it again, and I keep saying it. I'm not using no stat. I'm using these two as a basketball player. I think Kobe can shoot better range. It's a push on. Okay, just so you know. It's a push on free throw shooting. It's a tie if you go down the line on a lot of that. But you don't see him try to act like Michael Jordan ain't getting none of that LeBron James love back in the day. All right? Because you keep using
He
that
never played
argument.
LeBron James. He never played
I don't
LeBron James. He never
no,
got
you
no
missed my
LeBron
point.
James love.
What I mean by that is Jordan was
Are
the
you talking
king
about
of the league.
the media? Yeah, no, he
The
was. He
media,
was.
he laid at the free throw line and you couldn't touch him. So if you're going to use that argument for any other person, you use it. You know why it's better for Kobe? You ready for this? Because they tried to destroy him and it backfired. Okay, so that's the reason why I respect Kobe, because the way they tried to crush him, you don't want him to be like Mike. You mad because he did it better. It's like they tried to kill the dude,
Kobe
but then they
never did it
literally did
better
it.
than Mike. No, he
Look,
never did
Kobe,
it better than Mike.
it
Jordan
looked
never
better.
broke anyone's nose and had the foul called on the other person in the
See,
playoffs.
see, that's favoritism. See, we talking about Kobe.
That's
Kobe
a
was
No,
getting
vehicle
no,
calls in the
robbery.
finals.
hey,
Jordan got all the calls in all the finals. Come on, man, stop. You can't. If you're gonna make an
Michael
argument,
Jordan
dog.
only led the finals in 2 of the finals that he played in. 2 of the 6 he led in free throw attempts. What are you talking? You don't have any
Look,
facts, man. You come out here and
I'm,
you
my
ramble on, but you never
my
have the
hey, that's,
facts. Michael
hey,
DC
Jordan
look,
didn't shoot free throws
my
like
DC
bad,
that, my
fella.
man. You're just talking
My bad.
nonsense.
I'm just trying to be
no
the opposite. Okay, all
no
I'm
no
having
no
trying to have a fair
no
argument.
Bring the
no
facts.
no that's fine. I'm asking you, where was Kobe Bryant before I let Jim M on? Where was Kobe Bryant greater than Michael Jordan?
I just told you. I said shooting, footwork. I think everything else is even. If you can't say Mike can shoot better than Kobe because the range wasn't the same back then. Mike shot a lot of short shots. They wasn't shooting threes. So if I could do this better than you, you know Kobe outside game was vicious. What about his 81? 62 in 3 games, 40 in like 10. See, we don't use that kind of stuff. All right? You just like to say he ain't better. I don't like to use stats because once again, Jordan didn't play against a lot of great teams, fellas. Let's just be honest, man.
No,
Jordan was the owner of that
that's not
league.
honest.
It
He
wasn't
was
even 3 Jordans in the league back
no
then.
no. He did own the league, but you're telling me that the Utah Jazz, as it was brought up before, didn't smoke the Shaq Kobe Lakers.
Well,
Let
I'm
alone
saying the West
let
was
alone
great.
no. Let alone the David Robinson, Tim Duncan Spurs.
You're right. I
Did
say the
did
West
they
was
win?
great, but the East has never
What
been
what
a
what?
top-notch league.
No. Let me take it to my man Sports and Fitness. Rants is saying, what are we talking about here? They got smoked. Come on, man. Let's be real. They got smoked.
Hey, look, man. It's that anything I say, you're gonna disagree because you ain't being fair. I told y'all in the beginning,
I am being
Michael
It's
fair.
his,
Jordan
it's
is
historical
my
data.
favorite. Michael Jordan is my favorite player. I don't
No,
think
I'm
anybody
no
understanding that.
no.
You're
I
lying.
I'm
don't
Stop
I'm not.
saying that, man.
understand,
Those are lies.
dog.
That's a
See,
lie.
don't you want your kids to be better than you? See, this is
Don't,
the reason why I think
don't bring
Mike
up my kids
respect
here, man. We
Kobe.
getting weird now
No,
here,
hold
man.
up. Look, this is the reason why
Come
Mike
on, man.
respect Kobe so much. Because Mike said, all out of, and I challenge anybody to Google it. He said, the one that stole my moves might beat me. All right. Now, if the great saying that,
Not
and
a
he's
one-on-one
saying that,
game. What?
I'm saying in a one-on-one game. That's what Mike was saying. That was the question was posed to him. All right. See, I think Mike respects Kobe in the fact that he sees
We
himself.
all respect Kobe.
Now, I think y'all give Kobe a hard time because he played with Shaq. So Kobe playing with Shaq in his first years, you know what I do? I count Mike not winning nothing in his first 5. So they equal on that. Mike ain't
Well,
give you nothing. And guess what? My favorite Mike was early Mike. Mike was an animal, but he was selfish. All right, that's why they ain't win nothing. Come on, man. I'm a Jordan fan. What y'all talking about? Chicago was like that. That was my.
You just said he didn't have any help when he was getting
I did.
swept early in his career.
I
Now
did.
you're saying he's selfish. Which one is it, man?
I
Stop. See
never
what I'm
said
saying? You don't
Jordan
even
ain't
know what you're
had no
saying.
help.
You're rambling on here. You are
I
rambling
never
on
said,
once again, DC Slim.
bro.
You don't know what you're
I
saying, man.
never said
Michael
Jordan didn't
Jordan made the
have
playoffs
help.
every year in Chicago while going through a rebuild. He had 3
Why
zero-and-out
didn't he
coaches in his
win then?
first 3
Why
seasons.
he ain't win?
All kinds of players being moved around him. What are you talking about here?
If he's great, why didn't he win?
you say
Why did
that
it
like
take Jordan
Kobe.
6 years?
What do you mean?
You,
Why didn't he win? Did you not watch the game? Do you not know the history of the game? There's an obvious reason. There were
I,
all-time great teams in the NBA. Why didn't he win? He was going against the
so
86
Jordan
Celtics, who
lost.
many people consider a top 3 all-time great team. He's going against the 89
Wow,
Pistons, who people consider an all-time
wow.
great team. What are you
So,
talking about here, man?
so watch this. Watch this. Why don't you want to count Kobe beating more 50 and 60 win teams than Mike
Listen, guy. Listen. Let me
What
get
in
you
does
let me
that
get
playoff
you
mean?
on the
games?
facts right straight,
that's
okay?
That's
not
not
true.
counting.
Michael Jordan
That's not
Chicago
But
true.
coached me
Kobe,
more 60-win
how's that
teams
not
in a
true?
10-year span than any other player in the history of the
Hold.
NBA.
Hey,
So
we
please
didn't
do
say a
your
10-year
research and show
span.
me your facts before you come at me, man.
I didn't
I know
say a
everything,
10-year
dude.
span.
Michael Jordan's
Moving the
Bulls beat the
goalposts.
most 60-win teams in a 10-year stretch in the
Listen.
history of the NBA. No other
Listen.
team beat more 60-win teams in an era than Michael Jordan's Bulls. Go do your homework.
Bro, you know that's not a fact. You know Kobe beat more teams
You said
with
50
more
win. I
wins than
raised the
any.
bar and I said 60 win. I raised you 50 and said 60, dude.
Hey, so
I
look,
raised the
at the
bar
end of
on
the
you.
day,
Fall back.
at the end of the
All
day,
right.
because this is a fun argument. I don't want nobody to think I'm
I
serious. I don't
raised
want you
the
to get
bar
too
on
emotional.
you.
You know what I'm saying? Look, you're not really raising the bar. You're just saying stuff. I'm telling
I
you
saw
again.
your 50 and I brought you a 60 win.
Bro,
A fact.
it's
These are
nothing
facts.
you can. It's nothing you can show
You still
nobody on
haven't
this
explained
planet.
to us
Oh,
how
watch
Kobe
this.
Bryant's better. Listen, we did this live stream for you,
I
and you
just
haven't brought any
did.
damn facts. You should have had
Bro,
a whole week to prepare for this,
just
and you
lied.
came with
You
no
just lied.
facts. How dare
You know
you
you
come out on
lied,
this
right?
damn live stream with
Listen,
no facts after having a week to prepare?
bro,
You should know
you
better than
just
that.
lied. You
All right.
just lied. Okay, listen. Does
Like my
Kobe
man from
have?
the Rex, you know,
They-
that's called unsat. That's a
Anybody?
military term. You came
Hey,
unsatisfactory
man,
today.
just because you talk loud don't mean you're right. Just
DC,
because you talk
DC,
loud don't mean you're right. Don't ever
DC,
forget that, young man. All right? You know what I'm saying?
DC, please finish your take. We got two callers behind the scenes. One to
All right,
call
man.
in.
Look, you know what? I'm gonna end
Yeah.
it with this.
All
And
right.
I ain't gonna hold you, man. But at the end of the day, come on, man. Lay off the Jordan supremacy and love and all that. Come on, man. If you like basketball, you like every player. You don't never worship no one man. Say he the best. You can't. Don't. Y'all tripping. Y'all overkilling it. Sometimes you sound like a LeBron James fan.
Oh
You
my
don't
God.
even realize it.
This
Yeah,
is
you sitting
How
here
fascinating.
talking
dare
about
you?
Jordan's the GOAT, calling
How
him the
dare
God.
you?
And no, it's no how dare you. You calling this man the God. You saying he the greatest of all time, but you know he got
It was
swept twice.
he
Every
was
time you
literally
bring up
called
this,
the God.
look, man, I just told you Jordan, my favorite player. You see how I'm being fair to him, and I'm talking
That is
about
not
what he
how you
failed
opened
on
up.
and what look. I said Kobe Bryant is a better all-around player than Mike. That's not a lie. Okay, what that is called, what we was talking about last week, stuff moving on in time, stuff getting better. Come on, man, what's wrong with that? You mad at that? That ain't saying what you saying. What you saying is, oh my gosh, he's the greatest. Nobody will ever touch him. He can walk great. He can talk great. He is the greatest. I'm telling you, I'm a number one Jordan fan because of them shoes, champ. You take them shoes out that equation and all that love he got, you wouldn't be speaking of my life. I'm out, champ.
Uh,
Peace.
all right. Well, thank you, DC Slim. And real
He,
fast
he
though with that, what do you got to say? Angry
he was flip flopping more than a politician at the end.
flip
Robin,
flop?
you've got to take the audio from that and do a podcast on it, breaking down everything that he said and see how much he changed from beginning to end.
That's why I told him to go back and watch the video, man, because he's all over the place.
But the other thing, he kept talking about Jordan not winning his first seasons. Kobe didn't win the first seasons. The difference is Kobe had motherfucking Shaq. I mean that it's a level playing field as far as not winning the first few seasons. But then you look at the teammates; it's not level, is it?
Real fast, Roland Curtis did a 199 super chat. It's somewhere up here. I don't know who you sent it to. Whether it was me or Robin or whoever else is restreaming this podcast, thank you. I can't find it because it was a while back, but thank you for the super chat. I don't know where it went, but thank you very much. We have Jim M on here. You have a question for the panel?
No, actually, I was looking to respond to DC Slim. I knew this guy was going to go on there and say something crazy, and he did. From a individual standpoint about, there's no way to know who's better. Well, Michael Jordan was top 10 in his career in points per game, assists per game, steals per game, and three-point percentage. Kobe was only ever points per game, and the top 10 at any point in his career. So that'll cover the individual stuff. Kobe also choked a 3-1 lead, something Jordan never did. Anytime Jordan got to 3 wins, it was over. Any series of his whole career, he gets that third win, it's a wrap. Kobe can't say that. Let's see. Okay. Jordan got beat in 85, 86, 87. Okay. '85, the Milwaukee Bucks had 3 of the top 17 players in the MVP voting. They had an all NBA 2
Cook.
players,
Cook.
all defense, first team, the only team in NBA history. Look it up. The '85 Milwaukee Bucks, Paul Pressey and Sidney Moncrief, the only one to ever exist in the history of the NBA. That's what Jordan was going against, and he actually scored 1 point above his season average. Okay. '86. We all know Boston was 50-1 at home. They lost 1 game, playoffs, regular season combined. 1 game. And Jordan is supposed to beat that team. Okay. But he did get the record of 63 points in a single game. To this day, the record. Okay. '87. Kevin McHale and Larry Bird both were first team All NBA. I don't believe LeBron or Kobe has ever faced a team with 2 first team All NBA players on it. Not to my knowledge. Whenever Michael Jordan played a team that had an All NBA player on it, he was 13-4. LeBron is 6-8, and I think Kobe was something like, I want to say 14-11, something like that. All right, and then the Pippen thing. Scottie Pippen, I don't know if people realize this, but he wasn't there for 3 of the closeout games between '89 and '90. '89 against the Knicks, Game 6. He gets kicked out of the game. Technical foul. About 2 minutes left in the third quarter. I think the Bulls are up by 3 or 4. They lose that game. Game 7's in New York. Luckily, the Bulls won, though. And then in '89, he takes the elbow to the head against Detroit. He's out. '90, Detroit, migraine game, a little of no use. So I don't know how much Pippen really was a help in all that. I don't know. Okay, so another thing I was going to say is there's 5 top 75 players in NBA history to win at least 1 round in the playoffs when they had a winning record. George Mikan, Dave DeBusschere, Bill Russell, and Sam Jones, and Michael Jordan. That's it. There's your 5.
Crazy.
Can Kobe say that? He can't. Also, the only 2 players in NBA history to win the championship every year they won 60 games was Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Look it up. No one else has won the championship every time they won 60 games.
My man Cook.
All right.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm just giving
There we
pure
go.
facts. This is
There
not
we go.
opinion.
I didn't do this before. There you go. Come on. Give me something else. I'm gonna do it again.
I'm just simply throwing out the facts. And also the '98 Jazz team, had they won the championship, they would have beaten 10 top 75 players in that one playoff run, which would have been the most ever. The most ever is the '69 Celtics. They beat 8.
Dang.
And anyway, the Jazz would have beat 3 more, Rodman, Pippen, and Jordan, with a total of 10. And I'm not talking about guys on the bench. I'm talking about starters. And look, I hate talking bad about Kobe. I think he's great. But, you know, this DC Slim guy, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, Kobe had a great career, but he also got swept in a 4-game series in 2011. Did Michael Jordan ever get swept in a 4-game series? No, he did not. And Kobe had another All-Star on that team. Whenever Jordan had another All-Star and he played the full season, he won a championship. That's a fact. I could go on and on and on.
What's JM stand for? I can't read it.
No, Jim, man.
Jim.
Yeah,
Jim,
I listen to
bring in
you
the
and
data.
sport and fitness a lot. I love your breakdown of the LeBron stuff. It's great.
I should
Sport
be
and
listening to
fitness
you,
rants.
man.
Huh?
I should be listening to your channel. Where's your stuff at, man?
No, man, I comment on you all the time. You reply back, James
Yeah,
Meyer.
I know.
You know who I am.
Yo,
Hey.
much respect, man. You came with the facts right here, man. I really respect that. Appreciate that.
Hey, I want to put it out to everybody on here who's got takes. Make your own YouTube channel, man, because you got takes that nobody's ever heard of unless you say it. So do it. Like, really. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Anyway.
all right. I'll just drop one more and then I'm done. And this one is, you know, there's tons of players, but in 50-win seasons, which means you got a good squad, maybe not a great one, Michael Jordan has won 6 out of 8 championships. Kobe won 5 out of 11 times when he won 50 games. Just saying. So I'll just leave you guys with that. Love the show. I'll be commenting to both you guys through the week.
Thanks, Jim.
Yo,
Thanks,
thanks a lot,
man.
Jim. Much respect, man.
You got it.
Real fast, because I'm using this this it's the same colors with super chat, so I don't know who you're super chatting to. Whoever you're super chatting to, I'm sure they all appreciate it.
Oh, it's not me.
Jordan was regularly double clutching jump shots. I don't see anyone else doing that, but somehow he's not a great shooter. I don't know if it's to me or Robin or Rex or Angry Old Hoops. I guess he said he's not attached to it or paired to it, but
That's a great point, man. I've talked
yeah.
about that in some of my videos on my channel. Michael Jordan. That's why I consider him the greatest shooter in NBA's history. Right? When we talk about Steph Curry, you hear people talking about Steph Curry. I always say Steph Curry might be the greatest three-point shooter. But for me, if I need anyone to take a shot, give me Michael Jordan. I don't care where it is on the court, man. If I need a shot, I'm going with Michael Jordan. And one of the reasons why is, like my man was saying, his ability to be creative when he's taking these jump shots. Michael Jordan has abilities clutching the ball. You think about that shot over Craig Elo. That's a clutch shot. He's clutching that shot. He's pumping it in the air, reloading it, and then finishing it with the follow-through. So Michael Jordan had those kinds of abilities, man. Also, we think about Michael Jordan in the shots. He's always taking good quality shots. He gets into certain spots on the court, so you know you're going to get a good look with Michael Jordan. He's not going to take an off-balance bad shot at the end of these games. You're going to get a good look because Michael Jordan is known for making the right play. He really, truly does make the right play at the end of the games. Not like a LeBron James, I'll tell you. It's Michael Jordan. He makes the winning plays.
You know, Robin, when Jordan does that, he beats his man with that quick first step, or he beats the double team. And then back then, you've got a 7-footer camped in the lane. And that's why you've got to do that double clutch. You beat two guys, and then you have to double clutch because there's a 7-footer waiting for you, not this wide open lane bullshit that we're seeing now.
Real fast, because a lot of people like to say that the spacing is the greatest and latest. I saw Andre Iguodala break down why spacing isn't that great in respect to if you place on the 3-point line past, it's a lot easier to double team you and get you on the sideline and trap you. Trap being the important word for that play. And that once you play more closer to the basket, the trap is not as deadly if you, not to say that's not a problem, but I'm sure you all have seen it. But people like to say that the spacing in modern NBA is what it's about. It's not if you actually play defense, period, in the story. Anyway, Roland Curtis, welcome.
Hey, you guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys all made great points. I think for the 2 hours or so you guys have been on, I think we could safely say that Michael Jordan is better and greater than Kobe Bryant. And I remember there was those polls that ESPN had in 2020 where they polled fans, and over 70% said that Michael Jordan was the GOAT. Because I remember Cardiovascular Rex said that players have a different perspective and fans are on the outside looking in. And so fans, over 70% of fans said that Michael Jordan was the GOAT. And then they polled players against over 70% of the players said that Michael Jordan was the GOAT. They even adjusted the fan polling to accommodate for different age groups, and the youngest age group, 18 to 24, over 70% of them also said that Michael Jordan was the GOAT. I also have these. So speaking of players, I have just want to say these 3 quotes. The statutes of limitation is up. I was terrified out there. Yeah, the whole game, and that was Shaq recalling his very, very first time playing against Michael Jordan. I have another quote. The one thing that I think he was unlike any other player I've ever played against is that there was a real fear playing against him. People I've never seen. He said the league was kind of fearful of a play. I've never seen the league be kind of fearful of a player. And that was Steve Nash regarding playing against Michael Jordan. So that was significant because both of them played with Kobe Bryant and they played against Kobe Bryant. And then I have this one other quote where he said, Kobe, you had to switch it up, but I didn't have that fear. Mike, you better bring your game. That was Isaiah Ryder. So I've always seen that more players feared Michael Jordan than Kobe Bryant. Some people try to say that Kobe Bryant was a better dribbler than MJ because they're probably only looking at the MJ that didn't dribble as much during the 6 years that he was winning the championship with the Bulls. But if you look at the Michael Jordan before Phil Jackson, his dribbling was to me better than Kobe Bryant's. It was just as flashy as anybody has ever played the game. So yeah, I just wanted to say those things as far as MJ versus Kobe Bryant. And and again, there's no disrespect to Kobe Bryant. I think one thing I think everybody should remember that if you look at the memorial, there was nobody there crying more than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was crying more than even his wife at the memorial. And in keeping everything in perspective, they try to when it comes between Jordan and LeBron, there's probably no bigger fan than of Michael Jordan than LeBron James, if you take into account the entire time that LeBron has been alive. And then when they try to bring up the Scottie Pippen thing, like there's nobody that gave Scottie Pippen more of his props and more credit than Michael Jordan. And but none of those things take away from Michael Jordan being the best player ever and being the greatest player ever. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right, Robin, you want to start with this, or Roland, do you have a more specific question for this?
Well, I have a specific question. So I have a homeboy that has said that and I want to see if you guys agree with this. He said that the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant comparison is like comparing Coke to Diet Coke. So Diet Coke came after Coke. Most people who drink Coke says that obviously would say Diet Coke is not better than Coca-Cola. It looks the same, but if you drink it, there's a big difference. There's even people who would say that they prefer other drinks before they drink Diet Coke. So let's say they were on a deserted island and there was no Coke, they would rather drink 7-Up or Sprite than drink Diet Coke. And so because there are some people who make good points for LeBron being better than Kobe Bryant. I don't necessarily agree with, and I'm on the fence with that one between who's better between Kobe and LeBron. But I can see the points on both ends. If you consider just stats, then Michael Jordan is better than LeBron, better than Kobe, and then maybe you have that LeBron is better than Kobe. If you take into account the intangibles, things like that, like fearlessness and courage and all that stuff, then again, Michael's better than both Kobe and LeBron. But in the second case, maybe then Kobe's better than LeBron. So I just wanted to ask you guys, well, first of all, what do you think about the Diet Coke comparison, and and where do you rank Michael, LeBron, Kobe? And why do you have? I know you have Michael over both of them, but why do you have whoever you have at the second position?
All right, Robin, what's your take?
Yeah, so when the Diet Coke, the Coke thing, I don't drink soda that much, but I think listen, I think that's a fair assessment, I guess, or one way that you can put it. And like I said, once again, like you said, this is no disrespect to Kobe Bryant or anything like that. We're not, like say, trying to say or act like Kobe Bryant's not an all-time great basketball player, because he is. It's just that there's really no argument for a Kobe Bryant over a Michael Jordan. And, when we think about Kobe Bryant and the way that he played the game, emulating Michael Jordan, once again, they say that, the sincerest form of flattery is what for people to, mimic you and try to, be like you, so to speak. So, like I said, that's why I think a lot of people respect Kobe Bryant. I mean, that's why I have a lot of respect for him. I have him ranked number 3 in my all-time rankings, also part and due to his heart, the grit that he played with, things of that nature. But, one of the problems with Kobe Bryant as it relates to a Michael Jordan debate is that Kobe Bryant does not have the athletic gifts of a Michael Jordan, and he did not have the durability of a Michael Jordan. He just did not. Kobe Bryant's body broke down and stuff like that, and he just didn't have the overall athleticism of a Michael Jordan. We talk about these skills. He just didn't have it. So when people talk about Kobe Bryant and his work ethic, right, the Mamba mentality, the reason why Kobe Bryant had to work so hard to be like Michael Jordan is because a lot of people try to act now as if Michael Jordan wasn't this great athlete. You'll hear guys like Nick Wright talk about Michael Jordan wasn't a great athlete and things of that nature. Michael Jordan was a freak athlete. The man was born to play basketball. So that was something that Kobe Bryant did not have over a Michael Jordan. That's why he had to quote unquote work harder than a Michael Jordan, so to speak, because he was making up for all the other gifts that Michael Jordan had over a Kobe Bryant, which helped Michael Jordan become a greater basketball player. Because the one thing that we can't say about Michael Jordan and some of these other all-time greats, as gifted as they were, they did not squander these gifts. They worked and they pushed and maximized their talents and what they were given. They didn't just let it go. You know what I'm saying? Like some players in NBA history who have squandered their talent. They actually went out there and worked with their talent and improved themselves. So yeah, the Diet Coke thing might be a little accurate there. You know, he's a lighter version, I guess, so to speak, of a Michael Jordan.
Robin.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that Michael Jordan was definitely a better athlete, much more athletic than Kobe Bryant, and I still believe he was more fundamentally sound than Kobe Bryant. And I don't know, I don't know why Nick Wright said that, but I know that Kenny Smith has always said that one of the reasons why he believed Michael Jordan was the GOAT is because Michael Jordan was both the best athlete and the most fundamentally sound player at the same time. And you can also say that about the offensive and defensive end. That Michael Jordan, obviously, we remember 1988, where he won the scoring title and he won the Defensive Player of the Year award. But more than just the 1998, there were just many years where Michael Jordan looked like the best the best player on offense and the best player on defense.
All right, Rex, what do you got to say about that?
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't know. To be honest with you, a more reasonable debate to me would be Kobe Bryant or Jerry West. That's just my opinion. The one thing the guy mentioned the poll, and he mentioned my name specifically. He mentioned the poll of the players. That player poll was from 2019, not 2020. It was not the entire NBA. It was 124 players out of 519. 70%, 70.3%, I believe it was, 70 point something percent said Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And 73% of those players polled were contracted by Nike to wear Air Jordans. Thus, conflict of interest, not an official poll. And a poll, remember, that's a shortened name. They are called opinion polls. And if you take the results of multiple opinion polls, you get an opinion. Doesn't make it a fact. You could have asked 1,000 years ago 100% of the human population if the earth was flat, and they'd say yes. Didn't make the earth flat, just made it the universal opinion. I mean, Jordan was better. I tried arguing the Kobe side. There are things that Kobe had. There are points. There were moments, but he wasn't as athletic. He didn't have the, I guess you can say, the peak, because he came in young and raw and molded himself into the player that he became during his career. So that's not part of his peak. I mean, that's something you accept when you go pro at 18, right? You're saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to learn on the fly. He could have went to Duke. I think he was going to go to Duke if he decided not to go pro. And he could have played for Krzyzewski. He could have molded his game there more, and he would have came into the NBA as a more finished product. And perhaps this would have been, if he would have kept his thing in his pants, he would have, maybe this is a more even debate now 20-something years later. But it's not. That's not situation and circumstance. That's not reality. I'm not a Michael Jordan fan. I'm a fan of basketball. These guys played the same position and for a while at the same time. So more readily than others, you can have a somewhat apples to oranges debate as far as seeing them same time and space, as Dart likes to say. I still don't think it's an even debate. Jordan did everything right. He learned from the right people. He learned it early. He put it into execution, and he continues it. There's a reason why he's worth like $4 billion and none of these other guys are. He is ultimately successful. But that's just my take. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I think we've pretty much covered it.
Yep. Roland, I really don't got much to say about it.
Okay, I understand. I appreciate what Cardiovascular Rick said, but because you earlier when you said that there's a different perspective between players and fans. So yeah, well, you're right. They're all opinions, but I just wanted to.
That's not what I meant, though. You're talking about players that were interviewed in 2019 who never even saw Michael Jordan.
Well, I mean, you just like
I'm talking about the people that actually played.
Oh, you didn't say that earlier, but it doesn't matter.
No, I was talking about something totally different earlier, which is what I'm trying to explain.
Well, yeah, that doesn't matter to me either because I'm just saying players. I'm just using players and fans, just period. I'm not in no context of whether they played or didn't play. I just heard you say players and fans, so that was my focus, not any other context of whether they were still playing or not. So I just wanted to give a perspective from at least some players and not just all fans because we're all fans here. I also wanted to bring this up because I see there's like a fascination of trying to just say that because Kobe is younger or because Kobe came after, that must mean he's better, and to take it to like pop culture, they try to say that with, like, say, for example, Beyonce and Michael Jackson. It works. I don't know if you guys would agree with this, but it works as far as you think about with pop culture with James Brown and Michael Jackson, where Michael Jackson took a lot of things from James Brown. He came after him, and Michael Jackson was so much better and greater than James Brown, his predecessor. But it doesn't work here with Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Kobe Bryant did take from Michael Jordan and all this and that, but he wasn't able to surpass him. And one example that I could think of is that when Michael Jordan was at the memorial and he said his speech, he said that it sounded like from what I could gather that even after they had both been retired, Kobe Bryant was still texting Michael Jordan at 2 a.m. in the morning to get basketball tips for his daughter. And I could only assume that Michael Jordan is not texting anybody for any basketball tips at no point after his prime and after he won the 6th championship. After he retired, I can't see Michael Jordan texting or calling anybody for any advice, even if Dean Smith was still alive and even with Phil Jackson. I there's something about the situation that makes it feel that Michael Jordan is the end all be all as far as basketball knowledge and basketball wisdom. Even he's the one that took what he learned from his teachers such as Dean Smith and Phil Jackson, and he became better and more knowledgeable and just really became the guru of basketball so that nobody is above him. And Kobe Bryant, props to him, he recognized that even after he played so many years in the NBA, he would still go to Michael Jordan. I'm sure maybe he was still going to Jerry West, but Michael Jordan really told us of that story at the memorial. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I don't know if you guys have time if you wanted to respond to whether or not you think maybe Michael Jordan, is there anybody that Michael Jordan could go to for basketball knowledge yeah.
It's a great question. So yeah, and then after this we'll cut it off. Rex, what's your take?
Well, judging by his time as owner in Charlotte, maybe he should have asked somebody. And judging by how good his sons were, maybe he probably should have asked somebody.
All right. Robin, what's your take?
Well, listen, I think that Michael Jordan's always been a student of the game. He obviously emulated guys like Dr. J and, Michael Thompson, or David Thompson, who inducted him into the Hall of Fame. So obviously Michael Jordan, watched the game and had, was a fan of the NBA and things of that nature. So absolutely, when we think about, those things off the jump. But, when we think about, like I said, what he just said about the, what he was asking. I got stumbled in my thoughts for a second there. But yeah, I think that Michael Jordan, like I said, always took things from other players, but Michael Jordan had his own creativity, man. So absolutely.
All right, AOH. Are you there?
I can't get past Michael Jordan and Kobe being compared to cans of diabetes. Robin, you got to sports and fitness rants. You got to chime in there. You tell people to put that shit down. Those guys deserve more respect than that. You do not walk away. Don't touch that shit.
All right.
Original diabetes and diet diabetes. Pick up a beer and do yourselves a nutritional favor. And Jim, that guy Jim, he made me think. He made me think about all losing is not created equal. You know, the fact that people hold Michael losing to what might be the greatest team ever in the Celtics. Well, you know what? Fine. You don't always win, and it's okay to lose. It's a learning experience. It's a growing experience. But the way you lose is what matters. And he went out swinging. And you can't say that. I don't know that Kobe went out like a bitch, but LeBron has gone out like a bitch a lot.
Too many Cokes in the locker room.
Yep, is it? Now to that point, I won't say I won't go that far, but I agree to the point of it definitely seems that LeBron has given up early and is not went all in respect to that. I agree with that. In short, yeah. No, it's funny how some people try to compare LeBron versus Kobe or Michael Jordan. In short, yeah, it's a joke. Roland, you got any last words?
Yes, here are my last words. So, again, I think you guys have mentioned it. Like, as far as Michael versus Kobe, and if you want to throw in LeBron, Kobe had, Michael Jordan. They always said Michael Jordan never had a choke moment or a breakdown moment. Even in defeat, he still shined. It seemed like he was always the best player. You remember the 2006 playoffs where Kobe Bryant, they were up on the Suns, and Kobe Bryant refused to shoot or whatever for Game 7, and they lost that. And then a comparison to that would be obviously LeBron's 2011, where he for 5 games in a row he scored in single digits in the fourth quarter, and then he also had a game for the entire game where I believe he scored in the single digits or something like that. So and Michael Jordan never had any of those. And even when they bring up 86 and they bring up the times when the Celtics were beating him, he after he dropped 49 game 1 and 63 game 2 of the 86 playoffs, and then that's when Larry Bird, even after beating Michael Jordan, still said that he was that it was God disguised as Michael Jordan, and that was after beating Michael Jordan that he said that. And he's also said quotes where he said that I wouldn't have called him the best player ever if I didn't mean it. Obviously, you guys remember Isaiah Thomas's coach, Bob Knight, what he said. So it's just a lot of ways, so many coaches, players, and obviously, yes, he wasn't the best GM, he wasn't the best executive, but that obviously doesn't take away from him being the best player ever. And yes, his sons didn't do that well. I don't know about Michael Jordan asking other people so it should be probably his sons asking whether it's Michael Jordan or other people for their game. But as far as Michael Jordan asking anybody, I don't think he would ever have to ask anybody for any kind of tips for basketball. Maybe for being a GM, yes, he probably should ask people about that, about being an executive. But and the one more thing I'll just say, yeah, Michael Jordan is obviously better and greater than Kobe Bryant. And the debates these debates. I love them. I love hearing them. But I would think, and I don't know if you guys have done it already, I would think that LeBron versus Kobe would be a much better and a more like stronger debate than any of it. And I said this to somebody that one of the reasons why the Kobe Bryant fans and the LeBron fans are always at odds with each other, for those various reasons, But I would say it's because both fan bases they just kind of rushed their guy to Michael Jordan in comparisons. The Kobe Bryant fans rushed him to be compared to Michael Jordan. The LeBron fans rushed LeBron to be compared to Michael Jordan without having the discourse and the debates of Kobe versus LeBron James. And I think that's why they're both kind of fighting each other to put both guys against Michael without even putting them against each other. And as many times when, I've heard Kobe Bryant fans, when they try to argue LeBron, they don't do as good of a job. They just quickly just run to Kobe was like Michael Jordan, so that's why he's better than LeBron. Without, and so it seems like there's always like an excuse for why they're not comparing Kobe and LeBron 1v1 without bringing in other people. So it happens with the same thing. The fan bases are similar. I've heard LeBron fan when you try to compare Michael and LeBron, they'll bring in Bill Russell won 11 rings. If they try to compare Michael and LeBron, well, he has Scottie Pippen. They're always bringing in other people. Kobe Bryant fans will bring in Michael Jordan to help their argument, and LeBron fans will bring in Scottie Pippen and Bill Russell to help their argument. Michael Jordan doesn't need anybody else in his argument. Michael Jordan go one versus one in any debate, in any argument, in any conversation. He doesn't need anybody else to be included into the debate. He's that good. He's that great. He's that better. He is the best and the greatest player ever in NBA history and probably basketball history in general. And that's all I have to say.
What do you guys say about that, Robin?
No, he's right on the money, man. Those are the facts. Those are the facts, man, for real. I think, that, like you said, the LeBron James versus Kobe might be more engaging only because of the rabid LeBron James fan base and how much, they will, come in here and start going crazy because they think that LeBron James passed Kobe Bryant like 15 years ago. They think LeBron James been past Kobe Bryant. So, yeah, that would definitely make probably for a more entertaining debate. The problem here is, once again, we're not only here just to debate things or to have just conversations or to engage in those kind of things, but it's also about the education and setting the record straight. So when people are out here saying that Kobe Bryant is somehow, better or greater than Michael Jordan, then we must continue to educate and set the record straight, no matter who it is, man. Hold everybody to that same standard. And Kobe Bryant's on that level, as great as he has been and was in his career, just on that level. And I always think that I'll never put LeBron James above a Kobe Bryant all time, man. That will never happen.
What's your take, Rex?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't like ranking players because of situation and circumstance, but I don't see as a total package where Kobe surpasses Michael Jordan. I would argue it's debatable he surpassed Jerry West. That would be a more closer comparison, I believe. Still a more still a difficult one to make. But I mean, it's just and it makes it sound like Robin was saying this whole time. We're not slamming Kobe Bryant. You're talking the elite of the elite of the elite here. There's been over 5,000 NBA players. We're talking guys that are in the top handful all time. We're not saying this guy is trash compared to that guy. We're not saying, well, this guy better than that guy. We're talking one guy is for a certain skill is a 97.2 and the other is a 97.0. I mean, that's what we're arguing here. We're not saying one guy is a 4 and one guy is a 10. And that, Kobe had his moments. That's a fact. He had his time in the sun. He is, revered by many. The statues prove that. None of these guys need us, glorifying them. Really, they did what they did, and amongst each other, they know the pecking order. And that's really all I got to say. I think it's pretty much all been said in the last 3 hours.
It's time to wrap it up, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Roland Curtis for calling in. And I think it's been a great show. But yeah, you have any last words, Roland Curtis?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me on, and I appreciate all these debates and these shows, and I learned a lot from all of you guys, and I'll keep tuning in. Thank you. Take care.
Awesome. Do you guys got last words to say? Let's say Robin first.
No, once again, guys, it was a great show today, man. Thank you for everybody in the chat for coming out, man. Much respect to everybody out there. Like I said, man, much respect to Dart, my man Angry Old Hoops coming out and blessing us once again. Rex, everyone who came through, Hoop God, all the callers who came in. Yes, even DC Slim, man. We'll give him some love, you know, even though we know he says nonsense. But yeah, once again, it was a great show. I was happy to do it again.
Rex, what you got to say?
John Stockton fans park better.
All right. Angry Old Hoops, what you got to say?
I'm gonna go drink a can of diabetes.
You're drinking a 6-pack of Strohs, and we all know it.
PBR, come on.
I wouldn't know. I've never drank.
Anyway, thank you for everyone that's called in. And I appreciate you calling in. Hopefully, if y'all like the All-Star game, that you have fun watching it tonight. Otherwise, for the subscribers watching, thank you for watching. You got anything to say, Rex, about the people watching for you?
I have 77 subscribers. Somebody help me out.
Robin, what you got to say?
Nothing. Like I said, thanks to everybody out there. You know, once again, you know, thank you to all you guys, man. Another great show, another great time, man. You guys know the deal, man. We must continue to stand up, set the record straight, stop the lies, stop the narratives.
All right, AOH, what do you got to say?
Robin, bringing the facts. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm about to make public the 1987 All-Star game if people want to watch actual basketball instead of tonight's disaster. And appreciate you guys having me. I'm out.
You know, to that point, Charles Barkley once got in trouble for faking an injury so he didn't have to play in the All-Star game.
Huh.
Anyway, I just want to say for everybody, Michael Jordan fans are the best.